Hello, and welcome to this wonderful episode of Beast Fables, a role-playing game show that follows the lives of tiny beasts in a massive world. I'm Brian, and I'll be your narrator for today's game. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the founder of Dungeons on a Dime. I'm always looking to promote new folks into the creative industries and get more people playing role-playing games. Today I am joined by Ver. Could you please introduce yourself to our lovely audience?
I can certainly do that. My name is Ver. I use they, them pronouns. And in today's third part of our interlude, I will be playing Greer, an operative of the Tusk Legion and a journeyman tanner by trade. It's a little Greer voice sample for you.
Ooh, I'm so excited. You can find myself on Twitter at Dungeons on a Dime, and you can find Ver on Twitter at Verface. We are also deeply pining Atlanta, who will be joining us very soon.
Yes!
As we finish this interlude.
So much.
And we'll be joining Balthazar and Pipistrel and an interesting new guest character. But that'll be next week. In today's episode, we are concluding the exciting interlude of Greer's arc. Revolution is in the air, accompanied by the scent of burning flesh and feathers. Parents clutch their children close, and guilds take flight as the Clawlickers are ousted from Holdall. We're playing with the Adventures on a Dime role-playing system designed to tell exciting stories with simple rules. And I actually have a very exciting announcement about that today. I'm going to be flipping over to a fantastic combination partnership thing with Roll20, who are our sponsors. Look at how pretty this is. Adventures on a Dime is now officially on Roll20. All of the rules are available for free. You get a whole playmat with everything explained right there. It has dice that you can move around.
Oh, the dice! Oh my god, that's so cute. I love that.
And it even comes with, like, a knife! A bottle of oil! A lock! Like,
fun. Hey, can you put the knife in the person at the front who's, like, kneeling down? Can you put the knife... Yeah, they're ready for murder. Or cooking. Who knows?
Or cooking. They've got oil in one hand.
Yeah.
This person here has got the oil for them to cook. And
yeah,
then they've got a knife. And it's a magic ghost egg.
Yes.
That's what they're doing.
It's a classic of dungeon diving cuisine.
Of course.
Also, who did this art? Because it's really cool.
This is Fraser Robertson, who is a fantastic illustrator. This is awesome. This is from my book In the Red, which is actually out now. You can buy the physical book on my website, doed.co.uk, or get the digital PDF. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the headscarf on the sword-wielding fighter in the back.
Yeah, they look awesome.
Like the little flowers. But yeah, so you have all of the rules on this playmat that all of the players can see. So you can specifically like highlight, draw things, point stuff out in a large playmat that everyone can see. You also have them as handouts as well. So you can like pop stuff up on the screen, and then you have specifically the rules. All the players can see it. So there's a player's like side of rules, like what equipment they have, how all that works, getting injured, tools, all of this stuff that is there. But then you also have the narrator's rules as well in a separate section that only the narrator can see, the person running the game. And it's all there ready for them to use. It also comes with the character sheet. So we've been using this for the past few weeks on the Beast Fables game, and you've been able to get the character sheet individually, but now you have the rules of them as well, and it's all there. So when you get this set, it comes with one character filled out that's all ready to go. So it shows you,
I really like Starling the Hat. Oh, that's incredibly charming. Just having the title of the hat, I'm intrigued instantly.
Well, this is a riff of Robin Hood.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
See, because it's Queen Jane's crown, and they're a Knight Crusader who's a land gentry and who's now a thief, and all the fun stuff. Yeah, it shows you how the character sheet can be laid out. It gives you examples of all the rules, so like how base dice don't change, but current dice can go up above the size of base die, or go below base die because you're hurt. How injuries work, where items go, pocket items and carried items and stuff like that. It shows you how you can put new job skills in, like using Roll20. Yeah, it's sick. So
this is fantastic. And is it available? It's available in the store now, or
it is available now. It is there. You can have it, and it's free, and that's very, very important. Very few good things in life are free, but Adventures on a Dime is free, and you can play it. It's a fantastic, wonderful system. I'm so proud of it.
And you should be. We've been playing games in Adventure for a Dime since I want to say almost a year now. Since we started, we had the previous game as well before we did Beast Fables. And it's been such a fantastic system, and it's been so great for just storytelling and all of these unexpected but very entertaining kind of twists and turns, and it's really great that it's out there now for many more people to learn about and enjoy, and I would definitely recommend just using this system and playing in it, because it is just both simple and flexible for it, and very, very fun. And yeah, it's really
what I'm
cool
most
Brian,
proud
that it's out
of
there.
is that it's all these different stories that you can tell with it. It all, to be honest, it all sprung out of Writing in the Red, which is this entry-level 16-hour campaign aimed at narrators, at game masters who haven't ever run a game before and who may be playing with players who've also never played before. So it's all about lots of tips and tricks, gently showing you how you can run a game, but also giving you exercises to practice your own world building and really getting into it. So that ultimately you can keep on going without the aid of the book. You can just tell your own stories and have your own fun. But I wanted to make it applicable to all systems, but also wanted to have a little side thing in there, a small system that's really basic, in case people wanted to play and didn't know where to start. Because I didn't want to say like, oh, you can buy my book and then you have to buy all of Dungeons and Dragons, 90 quid for 3 books, and then all of your friends have to get it as well. And so I wanted to write a little system, and it was a side project that has bloomed into this thing I am so proud of. And
that is wonderful.
Just want everyone to play it. I think it's really cool.
Yes, it is very cool. Everybody should play it.
So
and I think because it's hosted, or it's available via Roll20. And speaking of Roll20,
oh, thanks Roll20.
Thank you Roll20 for sponsoring the show.
Yes. Roll20 sponsor Beast Fables as part of their Spotlight program, where they highlight lots of indie streams and small creators out there doing cool stuff. Roll20 have been very supportive of all of our shows, but also of Dungeons on a Dime as well, helping me get some stuff into the marketplace and make my stuff more accessible to a greater audience, because I hadn't considered digital roleplay until I started playing on Roll20 and doing like these Adventures on a Dime games with you guys. And now I don't want to look back. Like it's so cool. I love drawing little doodles and...
Oh, the doodles are so fun. Like I know that like it's not like Roll20 is a shared canvas kind of thing, like some sites are, but it works just enough where it is very fun to just mess about and make little doodlies. And I guess also, in this day and age and with the state of the world as it is, Roll20 is definitely a fantastic tool for retaining the games that you've had beforehand and starting new ones, and really checking out all the different interesting systems that are out there, because their ability to kind of support different systems and make them more available is really great for broadening your horizons when it comes to tabletops.
It's absolutely lovely. So thank you, Roll20, for sponsoring the show.
Thank you, Roll20.
Roll20 is great. I think that's everything I have to say. Is there anything you want to shout out, Ver, before we start?
I'm thinking, but I do believe I have nothing to shout out currently. Thank you for reminding me that I could.
I was just saying before we start. Oh, thank you to Gamey Jamie, who said that they can't stick around, but just want to say they love Beast Fables and it's fantastic, which is really lovely.
Thank you, Gamey Jamie. That makes my tiny heart grow thrice.
Mm-hmm. It's grown from like a rat's heart to a rabbit's heart.
Indeed, yeah, that's about the relative size.
If we keep getting nice comments, our heart will expand to the size where we become a titan.
One day.
So, let's dive in. Ver, would you like to recap what has happened so far in this interlude?
I certainly can. I will keep the first part of the interlude very, very short, because it basically set up the premise of our protagonist, Greer, being tasked with finding 2 diplomats who have been sent into the city of Holdall on behalf of the Tusk Legion, as well as locating the charter house of the Stitchers, a kind of healer caste of the beasts, and recovering some of the scriptures that they have for a member of the Stitchers, a mole called Hiccup, to copy in case anything happened to such scriptures. And the reason for sending Greer out to find these diplomats and these scriptures, in particular, is that there has been some manner of unrest in Holdall, and there is fear for the well-being of all these elements that she is supposed to find. After finding out some information about Holdall itself, Greer set out, approaching the city from an eastern road, and she kind of made it to a sort of first checkpoint with some guards on it, and they had dissuaded her, or rather, they didn't dissuade her. They had suggested that she does not go into the city, that it is in... It is not advised, but Greer, undaunted by such setbacks, continued on. And because there was kind of the scent of burning on the air and the sound of like crowds and unrest, Greer decided that she will try to enter the main tree of Holdall, which kind of holds most of the city itself, via a series of underground tunnels. As she had found out that there are some tunnels that used to be badger burrows.
Yes.
And she kind of entered through this old chimney down into an abandoned kind of underground neighborhood. There was some suspicious stuff happening down there. She encountered the long, kind of desiccated corpse of a badger leaning over a table. And as she continued through the burrows in the direction of the forge, or the forges, which she knew are still active and in use, she found herself needing to traverse through various obstacles and, in fact, traps set to presumably catch and probably kill any folk who make it through these tunnels. And I myself... Oh?
A note I'll add is that they were particularly badger-sized
Yes,
traps.
yes, they were, yes. She had at one point set off a few kind of spears that would skewer a badger in the neck. For her, they would graze her ears, had she not dodged out of the way. But yes, the all these traps seem to be for other badger folk to not be able to kind of easily traverse these old burrows. She finally managed to emerge into an area that seemed... It was kind of cut off by brambles and a heavy door and a kind of trap of falling rocks or falling walls on whoever would try to traverse it. And she got within vicinity of marks of kind... Or she found marks of people traversing these tunnels. She did hear kind of like yowling from a larger chamber, but she didn't really want to mess around and find out what's that about.
You'd left seemingly the sealed badger burrows and left through a hole that had been dug into them and down a passage that was underneath Holdall, passages that seemed to be in normal everyday use near the forges. You heard yowling and you didn't investigate and instead went up to the marketplace of Holdall.
Yeah, where like as I was emerging up to the market, I did hear the yowl get kind of louder and then cut off, and I don't know what's going down there, but I imagine it was probably gruesome murder. As Greer emerged into Holdall itself, the main market at the kind of interior of the large tree, she kind of emerged to the scene of unrest, of almost a large gathering, like not a riot just yet, but it feels like it could teeter over into a riot at any moment. And as she was kind of scaling the winding stairs up the tree to a particular location where she might find some more information, she realized that at the bottom of this marketplace there was a speaker who was advocating for living without predators, without the quote-unquote clawlickers, people who kind of bargain with carnivorous creatures for their own safety. And there was also a few sentiments thrown about kind of how, I forget the exact wording, but basically it was like really kind of like, oh, the Tusk Legion, they know what's up. The Tusk Legion has not been involved in any of this in Holdall, but
the words you heard were "praise the Legion."
Praise the Legion, yeah, which is woof. Like, don't get me wrong, Greer's all for the Legion, but also they're not involved in this, so it's a little concerning. But yeah, as she walked up the tree, she saw some people kind of, there was a lot of concern among the denizens of Holdall, among the chapter houses of various guilds. She saw some moon messengers kind of packing up because they were anticipating the worst. She finally reached a location where she found out that a kind of liaison to the two diplomats would often reside, a crow named Walnut. She knew that they can be found in the, let me double check my notes, in the Yellow Band Club. And when she made it there, after conversing with the barkeep, who initially was pretending they don't know Walnut, but she kind of managed to get it out of them that they in fact do, the barkeep and Otter said that he'll end his shift and take her to Walnut's dwelling. And as she was waiting, she was approached by a toad who recognized her and was apparently, or is, a fellow member of the Tusk Legion, though currently not outfitted in Tusk Legion garments. This toad, Hazel, approached Greer asking whether she is here with regards to the diplomats, revealing that they too are here searching for them or trying to retrieve them. And that's about where we ended, with these two kind of meeting and supposedly Hazel having something to share.
Well, the note we ended on precisely was Hazel saying, "Let me explain everything."
Yes, please. Yes.
So to set the scene again, you are in the corner of the Yellow Club. You are keenly watching every beast, every movement, every twitch of a whisker for danger. Mm-hmm. Your hackles are raised. You're not feeling safe right now. Hazel is a rather rambunctious toad sitting opposite you, looking into the corner, almost with no precautions, and you've had to shush him and quiet his rather croaky voice several times to keep this conversation more private.
Yes.
And he leans in, quietly riveting, and says, "Well, let me explain everything. It's been a few days that I have been here, and I have been looking around for Qiang and Shai, and, well, it's been difficult. At first, I came here, as presumably you have, to look for this hazelnut. Hazelnut? Walnut.
Walnut.
I forget the name. Walnut. And Walnut is a very difficult fellow to find. Resides up in I believe the branches. Can't remember quite which one, but I'll know it when I walk up. But Qiang and Shai stayed with Walnut for some time, for a few days, discussing about the politics of the city, when they went to talk to some of the guild leaders. I think they had some kind of altercation, some kind of argument with the wing wardens, the wing the messengers who are awake during the day. Oh, the name escapes me. And you would know it as the Wing Words Guild.
Wing Words, yeah. So Greer just she's listening to him and just very gently says, "The Wing Words."
Yes, capital, the Wing Words. And they had some kind of altercation, some kind of anger, and well, if you were to look over the balcony, he kind of gesticulates to the front door of the yellow band.
Yellow Band Club.
If you look over the balcony into the market below, you'll find Quyang. And he pauses.
She kind of looks like she looks at him with those red eyes and says, "Find Quyang, or what's left of them."
No, it's best if I point them out. And he kind of gestures. If you want to come to the
okay. Yeah. If we're able, like, can I see it from my vantage point? At first, I thought he meant that they're burned.
No, he wants to take you outside of the club to like the street and the balcony that then looks at. Because if we go scrolling up to the little diagram I drew last time, the Yellow Band Club is in the middle of the tree. So he wants to take you to the staircase inside the tree and look over into the marketplace below.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I hope it's not the goddamn speaker.
It is. He takes you and he points down and he says, that little rat down there on the pedestal, that's Quyang, or at least matches the description of what I'd been shown exactly. I haven't been able to speak to him, but he's got this fanatic crowd swaying on his every word. And you're high up enough that the noise is more of a general like cheering, yelling cacophony that's kind of dulled because of the wood. But you can't really make out what they're saying anymore because you're quite high up in terms of the tree now.
Oh my god. Remember that episode? I was asking for the description of every rat, and I think I missed that the speaker is a rat. Oh my god!
He was the only rat you didn't ask about.
Yes! Yeah. God damn it. Okay. Greer just kind of like stares. I think she's about as dumbfounded as me. She just says, What are they thinking? They're supposed to be a diplomat, not an orator.
And Quyang says, well,
Quyang?
Your guess is as good as... Hazel, even, sorry. Not Quyang. Hazel, the toad, turns as, well, yes, I quite agree. This is not the orders that they were given to do. They were here to bring peace and understanding. They're burning beasts. It's not what the Legion is about. And
she nods.
He says, the toad says, I know where Shy is. I think that he is staying with Walnut. We should probably go and see him. I'm glad I've run into you, because honestly, well, word needs to get back to the Legion. This is out of control.
She nods, and says, do you know where Walnut is staying? The proprietor of this bar, of this club, had offered to take me to his residence, but if you already know that, we can make our way right now.
He puffs up, and then he deflates a little, and he says, I think it best if we have a guide.
Her ear just kind of flicks. In like what would be the equivalent of like a very slow blink. Just kind of like okay.
It would save us time, I believe.
She nods.
Always be sure of your sources.
Yeah. Well, in that case, it's good that I secured that guide before we even spoke. All right. And because the otter said it's like half an hour before his shift ends.
I'd say it's now closer to like 5 minutes because you had the drink, you've been observing.
Yeah.
So like you could harry him, I feel, to like, let's go.
Well, more so, I think, because I was wondering if Greer has time to like go downstairs. But she's gonna turn to Hazel and say,
you could if you wanted to.
Well, she's just gonna turn to Hazel and say, have you at no point tried to intercept Quyang? Or, is this the first time, them being down there in the marketplace, that you've actually managed to locate them? How long have they been at this?
Well, today it's been going since the dawn. I don't know what he was doing, or they were doing in the evening, the night, to get to this state, but it's been difficult to track them down. They've always been moving around, and finding where this walnut stays. I don't think many folks were willing to part with that information when I asked.
I wonder why.
And difficult as it has been to track them down, now that I know where Qiang is, or who I presume to be Qiang, it's thick as blood down there. You can't get through. Physically, you cannot get close enough. It is packed, cheek by jowl.
She kind of squints down. And she says, well, it seems they're whipping up the crowd into greater and greater frenzy. They've already burned this Madro the Venerated outside. It feels like by every minute it could get worse.
And that is not a good thing. As my reconnaissance has shown, Madril was commander of the guard here, and they're all anxious. I think they're dividing. You know, they're a mixture of all types, but I think that the rhetoric of this Qiang has divided them into, well, as they call them, the right beasts and the Clawlickers.
Right beasts. How presumptuous of them to assume they're in that position. And her ears kind of fold back to the back of her head, and she says, don't get me wrong. I've joined the Legion for some of the balances of our world don't necessarily sit right with me, but wanton aggression and wanton destruction like this, well, that's definitely not the answer of balancing those scales.
And he nods along, and he's kind of waiting for you to take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as you had a master position to him, because he was one of your apprentices in the camps for a few weeks.
Yes.
Maybe a couple months ago, while the war was still going on. So he sort of almost naturally defers to you.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm kind of trying to make a decision as a player, because I think to Greer, the immediacy of the situation of this can escalate really, really bad, might be even more and I'm sorry if you, because you were just let's go find Shy, but I feel like
what would Greer do? I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. Because oh, this music's really good for just this moment of trying to think of something. I'm genuinely trying to think. Because her task is the chapter house and getting these two people, but Qiang, I might be saying it wrong. Can you pronounce it? Qiang. Qiang. Thank you. Sorry. Qiang is kind of like a rogue element, and that's really not great because she can kind of make the connections of what this will spell out for the Legion. Oh goodness. Oh, so I'm really, really sorry for the dead air for a second, but I'm just genuinely, I think.
Talk through what you're feeling. Talk through the conflict that is going on in Greer's mind right now.
Yeah. The conflict being that this can escalate really, really bad at any moment. So this might be the moment to interfere. In terms of if Qiang, sorry, the letter Q is alien to me. It doesn't exist in the alphabet that I'm familiar with, so I never know how to deal with it. Qiang
If it helps, the reason why they're called Qiang is because they're quick to anger.
Oh, Qiang. Okay.
There's a
Qiang.
naming convention that rats have.
Yeah, Qiang.
So think of it like you're squidging the words.
Helps. Quick anger. Yeah, Qiang. Thank you.
Yeah,
That actually
Qiang.
helps. Qiang. Yeah, so her thought process is that Qiang can tip this over into something that can't be stopped. Like, if she and Hazel go to get Shy, like, what that will give them, like, okay, they will find this person, but also we'll find out, like, maybe what happened to Qiang, but by the time that they're back, like, this can turn really, really ugly. And it is conflicting because her task is not to stop this from happening. But I think it's still within her kind of her own judgment. Well, I guess she is getting Qiang, if anything. Like, if she whisks him away, then she's doing her job. Yeah, that's the conflict. What's the
I wanted to see what I was going to do for the story. I rolled a 3, which means complication if you're doing a check. This wasn't a check for anything. You, as you're thinking, you're kind of trying to, like, you're thinking of all the different possibilities. You see far below a wriggling form, and above the sound of the yelling and the rhetoric that Qiang is spilling, you hear sort of like more distressed squeaks and squawks, and you see that a girl is being dragged through the crowd, but perpendicular to Qiang, to where the speaker is. They're being dragged out of Holdall towards the bonfire.
Oh shit, okay. She looks at this. Ears just go flat behind her, but, like, not in fear, but in anger. And she is going to bound on, like, I think not even saying anything to Hazel. She's just in action mode. She's going to bound on all fours, just sprint down those stairs to try and get down to the, like, marketplace level, or maybe even a little above it, as these stairs are kind of going in this huge spiral. She would try to bound down the stairs and then leap off of them in order to kind of get in position to either be, like, right there next to the goal, or kind of, in the middle of the...
You're going to try and intercept the goal before it leaves Holdall. The Holdall marketplace is enclosed and the bonfire is outside, so you're going to try and intercept. Okay. I want a vigor roll from you.
Okay.
To see how fast you are.
Can I tag my Grim Determination for this? As this is on behalf of the Tusk Legion kind of operation. Because this is absolute nonsense. Okay, I was hoping for a crit, but double fives, okay.
Double 5. That's a success. You do as well as you can. The narrator describes how successful you are. You run down the steps, and as you're getting further and further down the Holdall tree, the sounds of, like, the crowd get louder and louder, and you start being able to make out words. Among them, chiefly, is, like, murderer, is the one being, like, screamed. Almost at this point. The crowd is getting more and more aggressive, and you're kind of keeping an eye ahead of you and then darting a quick look at the crowd, and you're seeing that most of them are yelling and pointing. Some of them are throwing things at this girl that has been... The last kind of view you get is this girl has been tied up and is being dragged. The gull is maybe the size of 2 or 3 rats. It's not a huge, it's not a seagull, but it's a smaller gull. Different species, but similar eating habits. And it's being dragged through this crowd and it's been tied up so it can't fly away.
Is it, sorry, because I quickly looked at pictures, is it like the black-headed gull? Because they seem a little smaller than the ones that fly around and scream like old men that I'm used to.
Yeah, so those are seagulls, the ones that fly around and scream like old men. But there are smaller varieties that live more near the sea.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's still got the like a seagull's beak. It's not the small black-headed with the tiny thin beak that's for kind of like digging into clamshells and sand. It's still got that more curved, flesh-biting beak, but it's smaller. It's literally a small gull is the species. Because seagulls are bee moths, but this is just a regular gull, and it's being dragged. And then you've descended far enough that you can't see it for all the people and beasts around it. As you're running, people are darting out of your way. It's sort of like the whoa, and people kind of like step to the side just in time, where you would have completely bowled them over.
She would have.
You actually leap straight over the overladen cart that the wing.
The moon messengers.
The moon messengers. That's it. The moon messengers, and they're like, ooh, and it kind of rattles and you over the top, and then like the scroll you were speaking to earlier is like, and kind of like wipes their forehead.
He almost became the Cabbage Man of Beast Fables. My scrolls.
oh God! I kind of want to have the toad, Hazel, running behind and just bowl into it by accident.
There's just like a bowling pin noise as all the scrolls go up. Someone says strike.
Maybe, I feel like that has happened. Hazel has run after you because you haven't said anything to him, so he's run after you and he's run into this thing of scrolls, and it's all fallen over. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He's completely just caught up in that.
Yeah.
But you dart forward. I'm gonna say that you are approaching. You're not at the goal. You're sort of going along the side. It is very densely packed down here. You're able to like push through the crowd as you're quite far away from where Kriang is on the opposite side of the market. But it is loud. People are talking. You're getting a lot of dark glares from people who are like, "I'm trying to listen. Don't touch me."
So that's I think if it was so obvious, because Hazel said it's as thick as blood down there. If she's still on the steps, could she leap out to basically circumvent having to get through a lot of the crowd and kind of try to land, from an upper elevation around where this gull is to kind of intercept it?
So you can't jump that far because the scale of the forest is like, this is a very, very big tree, and let's say there's like hundreds of beasts in this big marketplace. Like, the tree is being artificially expanded as well. So you can jump to get a head start, but the stairs themselves are big. Like, they fit two badgers going up and down either side. So you're able to leap, like, you're here-ish. I've kind of drawn a diagram where like the hour up here is the out.
What are these like kind of islands?
So this is like crowds of people, of beasts, and this is like the stairs going over them.
Gotcha. And where's the goal?
So the goal is, we'll say, the circle here. So it's on its way being dragged out.
Yeah. Well, if she was kind of descending from here, how high is it here to just jump down here?
Oh, I get you. I thought you were like, I'm going to jump from the base of the stairs.
No. From the stairs as she's descending to just like
you could
kind
do
of
that.
Superman
I'm going to say,
land.
Like just before you, it's quite high. It's going to be a describe how you jump down. What is your goal here? What is your goal here?
The goal is my goal. She wants to kind of, because she has the idea that by the time that she gets down here, this guy can get dragged. No, there's too many people. She kind of wants to just land as close as she can. If there's like any stalls and stuff, she would kind of try to parkour down to them, like bah, bah, bah. If she's able to make a leap to just Superman land here, she would.
So yeah. Let's say there are some stalls. Some of them have been pushed to the side, or like the awnings have been like lowered so more people can see. But there are a couple stalls. So you're going to try and like parkour off of some stalls to kind of break your fall.
Yeah.
So make a cunning check for me because you're trying to use the environment around you.
Even though I'm using cunning, can I still tag my mighty back legs to let me use them with like that leverage? Thank you.
Yeah, you can.
Criticals, nat 8.
Nat 8. So you jump and you kick against a stall, and it allows you to sort of put a lot of your downward momentum into forward momentum, which allows you to then roll to your feet by the side of the girl. There is a moment. You have like a couple seconds of shock where people are like, "Whoa!" and people are still screaming like, "Traitor, murderer, clawlicker," all of this around you, but the immediate people carrying the girl, who are, let's say, who would they be? Let's say there are 3 beasts carrying the girl, and they are a very, very big frog, a vole, and a beaver.
Okay.
All carrying this girl, and they look pretty mean. One of them has got like a really big puffy eye, where clearly this girl has tried to fight back, and a couple of them have not necessarily heavily bleeding, but like peck marks, and they don't look friendly. They look at you in shock. And you have a couple seconds of like, what do you want to do?
Greer doesn't look friendly either. She kind of, so she like lands, and in those few seconds, she kind of rises to her full height, standing on her hind legs, and she she grabs the hilts of her knives. She doesn't take them out yet, but she kind of puts her hands on them and looks at these creatures, at the frog, the vole, and the beaver, and says, "By what right do you carry out this sentence?"
I'm gonna ask you to make a willpower check for me. You are trying to like assert a presence and a dominance, and it is chaos. So it is disadvantage for this check. It is loud. There is screaming. A whole crowd of beasts is backing what they're doing. So unless you can tag a skill, it's going to be disadvantage.
Can I tag my sinister aura?
Yeah, I'll let you do that. To tag your sinister aura, I think you're going to have to like half unsheathe one of your knives.
Yeah, but I don't want them to see just what it is yet, the Tanner knives.
But you turn the hilt of your knife, you make it very clear that you've got a knife. Okay, so
because they're strapped
check.
to the sides of her legs, so they're like at, hands length. Okay, straight check. Almost a crit.
As well as you can. The narrative describes how successful you are. The beasts, like the beaver and the frog, are still like mouths open, like, where did you come from? Because I don't think many people would have noticed you like leap and roll almost like you were a blur. But the third beast, did I say it was a
vole, a frog, and a beaver?
Yeah. The vole, who's actually wider and squatter, kind of looks up at you with like a squint and says, "This is going on fire. Monsters deserve the fire."
She looks at this vole and says, "By what law? We already have laws in this land to designate those who are meant for death. We brand those who are not fit for our societies." And she unsheaths her Tanner knives and says, "And then they are dealt with."
What effect are you trying to get here?
Basically, like, kind of cow them. Like, you guys are fucking... Sorry, I'm sorry for the swear. You guys are, basically, like, they're butchers. They're murderers. They're a bloodthirsty, mob who, like, yeah, she doesn't love, predators and stuff, but because she deals with the ones that are branded, she deals with the ones that are dangerous. And, like, this is chaos, and this will only lead to bad things. Basically, kind of making them stop for a moment and consider, like, the inhumanity and beastliness of tying someone up and throwing them on a pyre.
Yeah. I want you to make a willpower roll. It would be at disadvantage, but because you've drawn your knives, I'm making it a straight roll.
Okay. Would I be able to tag anything for this, or?
Yes. I'd let you tag something. It would have been disadvantage, but you've done a cool thing with your knives, so now it's neutral. So if you want to tag an extra skill, you can make it advantage.
Can I tag my unflinching, that even with this Vol kind of being like, she still kind of sticks to those convictions. She's not at all swayed by what's happening here.
I'll say that it's not the Vol that you'd have to be unflinching. It's the fact there are hundreds of beasts baying for blood around you, but you just don't. You've got singular focus on this Vol. You have advantage.
Thank you. Thank you.
You had a 3, which is a complication, and a 5, which is a success. There is a hush, almost. There's still the baying of creatures at the back and the general hubbub of people talking, but the immediate creatures, you feel suddenly room has been made. Whispers are being said that you can just hear over the general yelling from further back, of Tanner. Killer. And the beaver actually drops because the beaver's carrying, say, like the front of this gull, drops the gull on the cobblestone of the Holdall marketplace floor with a thump, and a slight squawk from the gull, which is wriggling and trying to get free of these ropes, and actually steps back from the gull. The frog seems almost terrified and is just holding the gull's legs in its kind of big muscled arms, and is slightly bowed, as if ready to spring. You're not sure what it's thinking. The Vol looks at you and says, "This one ain't worth a brand. But you're a Tanner. Go on then. Deal with it."
She
and kind of like offers the gull to you as if giving the pig to the butcher.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah, she looks down at this foal and says, "Do you truly think I would oblige by the will of a bloodthirsty crowd? What separates a tanner from a butcher is that reservation is knowing that the marks that we pursue are the ones who deserve death, as ordained by brands, by these aspects of our society that we already have to deal with such people. I am no butcher."
I'd like another willpower roll. You're trying to debate in a very heated space.
Yeah.
It's a straight roll. Do you have anything to tag?
Can I tag my instructing apprentices to kind of assert my authority and kind of, this is a mob, and the mob tends to swing to those with the strongest convictions.
Yeah.
Or that is at least her kind of feelings on things. So she's trying to basically assert herself.
I give
willpower?
you advantage. That's a very good tag of that skill.
Yeah, thank you. Willpower.
That was very tense. The first roll was a 1, which was a hijinks. And then the second roll was a 5.
Bailing me, dog. Whew, we're bailing me out. Yeah.
You do as well as you can. You are trying to reason with someone who clearly, like, you're feeling it now. You've got a read on this guy. He clearly has some kind of personal motive. I don't think it's not related to the gull, but he wants revenge for something, and he's taking it out on this gull. He just glares at you, and people are the pocket of people around you are now louder, but it's confused. People are kind of like shout talking to each other because it's so loud. The crowd around you is doesn't know where it's out right now. Like, you've said some things loud enough that people are questioning what's going on. They're pausing. The people around haven't heard this. They haven't seen this. They can't even see the whole altercation with the girl. They're just screaming for blood. And you kind of, from the corner of your eye, you're able to see Qiang far on the other side of the market is still orating. So, like, you've got a momentary, like, eye of the storm around you, but everything is still very heated in the rest of the market.
Yeah, I think she's kind of gonna, because she has those tanner's knives drawn, and she's standing over this goal, and she looks at this vole again, who's really kind of personal about this, and I think she will say like what she thought, and she'll say like, in times of unrest, the crowd is eager for the comfort of strong convictions, even if they are wrong. She just kind of looks around and says, "Look at yourselves. Butchers, the lot of you. You look down on my kind for doing what we do, and here you would gladly spill the blood of another." And she'll look over...
Ooh, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
And I think she'd kind of look over at, like, Qiang, and say... actually, no. We'll end it from there for now. Apologies. I thought I have more, but then I'm like, no, I'm out of ideas.
I'd say because you're being again very emotive, it's going to be another willpower check to see how the crowd is reacting to the things you're saying, and how well they respond to it.
For this one, can I retag my grim determination? As just that kind of connection to her convictions, and like, in spite of, like, I know that she's in an eye of a storm kind of situation, but like, in spite of the odds, like, she's gonna be here standing for what she thinks is the right thing.
I think it's also like her lived experience. Like, this is a lot of frustration of being looked down on as a bounty hunter and a killer of beasts. And it's kind of coming out here.
Yeah, like, come on, people. Like, seriously, look at yourselves. So if I can tag that,
I'd let you tag it for advantage.
Willpower.
That was another hijinks and success situation. It is. You are feeling a lot of the tension right now. Like, it's like a guitar string that's getting tighter and tighter and higher and higher, and you don't know if it's going to play or if it's going to snap. The crowd...
But what she does... Can I just say very quickly? What she does know is, much like the lines that she follows, they can be swiftly cut one way or another. Peter on a balance. Anyway, sorry.
Delicious, delicious tension. I'm really loving this. Someone in the crowd yells, "Shame! Shame!" And people are talking, and there's a lot of people are no longer looking at the girl. You don't know if the shame was directed at you or if it was directed at the people crying for blood.
Yeah.
You're getting the strong feeling that you have done as much as you can. But like the lines that you follow, something's going to break soon. And it's not, like, it's on the brim.
She looks... So this gull on the floor, it has the bindings on it. Could they be kind of swiftly just like cut?
Yeah, I'd let you do that.
So she, like, as there's this moment of stillness, with that kind of casual grimness of her work, of kind of the practical, like, her movements are all purpose and practicality. She kind of bounds up to the goal, and she addresses it, and she says, I don't know what you have done, but you're not branded. So, as far as today is concerned, this tanner may well save your life. And she's gonna like cut the lines. Not the lines. Cut the ropes.
Just walks out like a spring chicken.
Yeah. No. She. I'm sorry for all the swearing. I'm just so tense. She kind of severs the ropes with those sharpened knives. And she says, "Do not turn on yourself the ire of this crowd any longer. Don't seek vengeance. Just seek your freedom." And she kind of like just points, up, like for it to fly or whatever it wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
It can.
I think like the minute you cut those lines, there's like it gives you a look, and I say they give you a look of like pleading thankfulness, and they don't say anything. Like as you cut the ropes, they're already scrabbling to start momentum to fly.
Yeah.
And there's like a cry of distress from like the crowd as they kind of go, ah! And like there's like a rat that gets like smacked in the face by the girl's wing as it starts to fly up, and it hovers over the crowd as it starts to like actually like bat its wings and move, and it starts to spiral up the spire basically of Holdall, the inside, like up the inner bit of the staircase that I talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In between the hollow. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, the hollow of the tree. So it flies up the hollow of this massive tree. And more cries of shame, shame are kind of like going around. And again, you don't know if they're crying shame at the crowd for having tried to burn this bird, or shame at the bird escaping, or shame that the bird should feel. Yeah.
Yeah, or even if it's shame at her, like she doesn't care. She's a tanner.
Yeah.
She hasn't heard that before.
Yeah, there are a lot of conflicting emotions right now. Because have you got like a sensitive sense of smell? I'm gonna check a character sheet.
No, I have keen ears. I don't have a. Yeah. I have a funny rabbit nose, but it doesn't give me anything other than I can make it kind of go up and down.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. It's quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
What is Greer gonna do now?
So Greer kind of cuts these ties, and with this kind of grim look on her face, she's gonna start walking towards Qiang.
Okay.
She sheaths her daggers. She's not walking with the daggers out, but yeah, sorry.
Quick 5-minute break, because I desperately need to use the loo.
Oh goodness, okay. What, in this moment of tension? Unbelievable.
I think this is a great place to pause. So we will be back in 5 minutes.
Shall I mute my...
We're back. I have consulted my notes. We are ready to go. So, Greer, what are you doing?
Well, I sheath my scary Tanner's daggers, and as mentioned, I turn towards Qiang.
Yeah.
And she just kind of starts shouldering her way through the crowd, with her eyes basically like fixed on this rat speaker, because what is he doing?
Okay.
This was not his job.
I want you to make a vigor check with advantage, because essentially some of the crowd parts from what's happened, like they get out of your way, but you get to a point where the crowd, like that influence ebbs because they just don't know what's happened and they weren't even paying attention. They're looking at this he's standing on top of an overturned barrow, a cart even, and talking, or kind of yelling really, very passionately. So they weren't paying attention, so you have to kind of try and like muscle your way through them.
Yeah.
And the closer you get to Qiang, the more difficult it is, because there are like smaller beasts on larger beasts' shoulders. They are thickly packed, and any slither of this view of Qiang they have, they don't want to give up.
Yeah. But I get you say I still get advantage for this vigor check.
Yeah, you have advantage because of the influence you had, but it does eventually ebb, so you still have to make a check. Oh.
I mean,
well, there we go.
I think I clicked it a second time just to see if it was going to be another crit, but there we go.
But you got a critical success. So actually, I'm gonna retract that. I'm gonna say that the influence actually goes with you. I think there are whispers of people.
Like the sea parting in front of Moses.
A little bit. You hear whispers of people being like, Tanner, there's a Tanner, there's a Tanner. And then, like, you see tails go bushy. You see fur rise. You see ears go flat. Suddenly, there is a lot of attention on you and side-eyeing as people step out of the way. I wouldn't call it the Red Sea parting, but there's definitely enough breathing room for you to move your way to where Qiang is speaking. And I'm going to say that Qiang is orating very consistently with zealous energy, and they are saying things like, "No longer will we live under the tyranny of beasts that devour beasts. They will no longer live with the power of fear over us. We will not bow down to their claws and fangs anymore."
She is kind of, approaching with that steely, grim look, looking at him, and as she breaks through kind of shoulders through the crowd, he doesn't at all, like, notice that there's, like, a large hare walking towards him, and everybody's like, oh shit. Is he still kind of...
He's looking at everybody, and he sees you coming, but he doesn't flinch.
Yeah.
So when someone's speaking to a crowd, they kind of look at all the different bits of the crowd. Like, He has noticed your approach, but he is not at all changing his the way he speaks. Or they speak, even. Sorry.
Yeah. She... It kind of walks to where... Because is the crowd all the way, like, up to this guy, like, right next to him? Or is there, like, a little kind of semicircle that's, empty around him? And there's like a border at which people...
person's width between the cart and the crowd. Like,
okay.
It's a very small semicircle.
This cart is overturned on its side?
Yeah, and he's standing on it. Let's say the cart is actually underneath the stairs, because the staircase is quite high at this point, and so, like, the crowd is very close here-ish. So I'm gonna say that you have walked... Oh no. Hang on. I'll move the crowd out of the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna move myself.
Yeah.
So I moved down?
Yeah.
And he's here?
You're there, if that makes sense.
And the car... So is it overturned, or is it still on all four?
It's overturned, so...
Oh, it is overturned, okay.
Yeah. So the wheels are in the air, and he's standing on the base of the cart.
Oh, okay, because if it was on its wheels, she would, like, kick it for it to move. But okay, she's gonna walk up front to basically be in that person, like, way up to the front of the crowd, so she's right there in front of him, and she's pretty big, comparatively.
Yeah.
Like a hare is, larger than like rabbits and larger than most of these folk. So I imagine she's kind of, occupying a lot of his visual space. And as he's talking, she just kind of says, Kuyang, what is the meaning of this? I thought you were a diplomat, not an orator, not an inciter.
And Kuyang, without kind of breaking from what he's saying, kind of turns and looks at you and says, I am here to share that we no longer need fear predators, that we need not be clawlickers. The Legion is here to change everything. We don't have to lose our loved ones. We don't have to be afraid.
She kind of looks at him as he says this, and her ear twitches and says, Oh, there's conviction in your heart. How was your partner killed? Was it by a predator during the wars? Is this what started it? Because she remembers that Commander Clay said that he is a veteran of the first year of the Boer Wars, and it says that he was discharged because of injury, but when she asked what the injury is, Commander Clay said, well, actually, their partner was killed. And
what is your intent by bringing this up? What effect do you want to happen?
In this, like, I'm speaking to everyone, and in this moment, he will focus on her and speak to her. Basically divert his attention from orating to everyone to make this conversation between the two of them.
Okay, make a cunning roll.
Can I... let's see. I want to see if I can... if I can tag anything. Organizing objects. This guy's a tool, so...
Not quite.
Not quite. I mean, I'd say maybe in trying to focus him on her, she... Maybe some of that sinister aura, because she's bigger than these creatures around her. She kind of has, she has the scars on her face. And in this moment, hopefully, bringing up this part of his past might have like this sinister ring to it. Like this is someone who knows something about him, even though about them, even though they don't know her.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of.
I'd let you roll with advantage. You're being
edge.
Sinister. And you're trying to manipulate him with his emotions and his past.
Yeah. Cunning, right?
Mm-hmm. I think you say that, and Kuyang, it goes from like orating to glaring down at you, and though he's still speaking loudly, he says something like, "You don't get to judge. No one gets to judge anymore. We are free beasts. We don't live under tyranny." And he actually jumps down off of the cart to kind of walk up to you. And he is shorter than you.
Oh, yeah.
But they kind of walk up to you, and I look, their snout is like poking up at your face, and they are jabbing fingers at you as they're kind of saying this.
Yeah, good. She looks at them and says, because, sorry, they said you don't get to judge, right? And, we get to, yeah. She says, I understand wanting to assert a certain level of control around the things that you cannot. Judge these creatures all you want. But you're not the executioners. Or you should not be the executioners, even though you might fancy yourselves as such. There are already those who do that in this world. She doesn't draw her dagger, she's just kind of looking at him with,
and
just
you say this, and he kind of, he's a bit quieter now. Not because he's shy, but just because he's so close to you, and he says...
Yeah, he's not shy, he's Kyang.
Yeah. He says...
Sorry.
They say to you... Oh, I don't... So, we don't get to judge? You don't get to judge? Who does get to judge? The guilds? The guilds run by predators, run by hawks, by otters, by flesh-eating monsters who can't be satisfied with what they find in the water. They just have to have warm-blooded forest dwellers too.
She looks at him and says, "And what do you think that a change like this in this moment will bring? Yes, the satisfaction of taking a life of these few predators. And then what? They will turn on you with all that bloodlust that you describe. Change like this does not come from..." And she just kind of points around like this. Not in this moment.
Huyang looks around and says, I did not do this. I just show them what was in front of them all this time. And it's done anyway. Who are you? Kind of snaps his head, realizing that he doesn't know who you are.
Yeah. I was tasked.
He looks you up and down and says, what Tanner comes here to tell me of the right of a predator to live? A hare, no less.
I was tasked with bringing you back to the Legion. Now, don't get me wrong. What the Legion does, the change it does want to introduce, I'm not against it. But this might create a blight upon its name that we might not be able to expunge for a while yet. What does this look like to you? Just look what you're doing.
He seems blind to it, but he recognizes, he's like, I'm, sent from the Legion. He looks at you, he looks at you again, and he goes, I know you. And he turns, he kind of steps back and he calls the people, says, I am called to a higher purpose. I return to the Legion, and we will change our lives. And he kind of looks at you, as the crowd are now more talking and yelling amongst themselves. And says, let's go then. Take me back to White Flank.
She kind of looks at him and says, let me just find one word real quick, because I want to say a word, but I don't know if it means what I think it does. Because I'm stupid. I won't say it. I don't even know how to spell it.
Non-native languages. That's a lot of effort.
I don't even know how to spell it, so I won't say it. So,
no, what is it? I can help you.
Proselytize? Proselytize is
sort of preach.
Proselytize is preach. I'm thinking of the thing that's like you assert, the truth as... there's like a word that begins with the word P that kind of sounds like... I don't know, though. Once again, sometimes words get lost in my
Proselytize.
brain tubes.
Convert or attempt to convert someone from one religion, belief, or opinion to another.
Proselytize?
Proselytize.
Proselytize. Oh god, I would not know that's how it's spelled. Thank you.
Proselytize is how it's spelled. But yeah, proselytize is to kind of convert someone.
Yeah. So she says, you proselytize these people with your own convictions, not those of the Legion. You should tell them that these words are your own, not the entirety of the organization's.
I never claimed that I was speaking for the Legion. I just spoke of their great work with the Boer Wars and with freeing other cities, and they want that here too.
She looks at him and says, "These lies will spread faster than the flames."
And he looks at you and says, "Well, so be it then. I answered a white flank, not to you."
She kind of squints at him and flicks an ear, and she won't say it because she's not the kind to threat, but she thinks, like, depending on, how things end up, you might have to answer to me if you're branded. But that's not something that she'd say because it's not her style.
I feel
but
like
it's
the
what
thought
I
bubble in the
think.
comic could be like, "Oh, I wish you were branded right now."
Yeah. But yeah.
He actually doesn't wait for you to say anything more. He says, "Well, let's be about it then." And he actually starts to stalk towards the staircase.
Yeah.
And the crowd part before him.
Yeah. She says, "Hang on now. We still have to fetch Shy. There were two of you after all."
Over his shoulder, he says, "Where do you think I'm going?"
Because he was going to the exit, right?
The staircase, I said.
Oh, the staircase. I'm so sorry. I thought he was going. I just totally heard.
Do you want to retcon them then? So he sort of like says,
Yes, yeah.
Let's be about it.
she
He
would
goes
be
towards the
going with him.
staircase specifically, and yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, I just in
No,
my
that's
head
fine.
I'm like, he's leaving now. She will kind of stalk behind him, and like her posture, her body language is visibly like frustrated and kind of looming and angry. So like, if people are onlooking, it's obvious that there was some kind of altercation, like some kind of heated argument, and she's fucking angry about it. Once again, I'm so sorry for swearing. I'm just the tension.
There's a lot of very intense emotions happening in this game.
There
It's okay.
is, yeah. So she's kind of stalking behind him, visibly angry. That kind of sinister aura just around her. So hopefully as people part after him, there's like that moment where they kind of like jump back as she still goes through that parting. I just want it to be very obvious to any onlookers that she is mad and this guy's...
Make a willpower check at disadvantage.
Yeah. What is a disadvantage for? Just because he's such a strong presence?
He's a strong presence. The crowd respect him, and it's really difficult to look like you've won a fight when someone strides out from you.
Yeah. Can she use that sinister aura?
Yeah, I'd let you have a straight roll with sinister aura.
Thank you. Oh, the dice have been so kind to me today.
Just wait till you play Balthazar again with that default cunning.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to fail every time I try to be a smarty.
You move after him, and you use your long legs to walk beside, not behind him.
Yeah.
To kind of equate your equalness.
Yeah, like
now,
I'm this naughty child chaperone. Playtime is over. You're going into the corner. You get a dunce cap, you dumb rat.
So, to cool things down a touch, let's have a quick review of how this scene went. That's too calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to this one. We'll end the scene there as you start to escort Qiang up to the branches of Holdall to get Shy and potentially perform your other task before leaving Holdall. Your fortune for this scene, which we started last session,
yes,
was caught in the middle.
Yeah.
Which the bearing for that was ego. So the theme of the scene
I egoed.
was ego. The balance of pride and humility. Pride being admiring, asserting, commanding, dictating, preening, condescending, glorifying, immortalizing, judging, and martyring. While humility is exposing, trusting, acting with modesty, acting with timidity, ceding, yielding, crediting, accepting, leading, and inspiring. Where do you think Greer was on the scale of pride to humility?
I mean, if she was humility, that girl would have been goddamn dead. So, no, definitely pride, definitely eschewing those aspects of her livelihood. and her social standing to kind of strong arm people into listening. Because like I just realized like she's not like, oh, you can't change things through riots, but it's mostly just like, dog, you're just like making the Legion look like we burn everything on a stake. Please don't do that. Because she's not big on predators, but also these guys were kind of like, I don't know what the ghoul did, but ghouls can live off of not just creatures, so shoot, I don't know. He has some story. In any case, no, definitely pride. Definitely commanding and condescending. Very much.
Yeah. So very much your bearing has moved to pride.
Yes.
To vice as it is. Acting in the moment and not considering what could happen in the future. Living on a knife's edge.
The lines, man. The lines.
That means that for this next scene, you have a point that you can use to automatically succeed a check after you have rolled it.
Yeah, because I didn't like contest anything with anyone today, so I couldn't make them fail or succeed.
Help them succeed.
Yeah. So now we're in business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
Could you move your rabbit?
I will move my rabbit. There we go.
I'm gonna do auto success as opposed to auto suck because auto suck is not what you have.
No, that is not what I have.
Okay. So, let's start the new scene with the last fortune of this interlude. The fortunes that you can pick from for the coming scene are... I'm going to type them into the chat as well so you can see them. Heat rises. Branches break. And iron rings.
Honestly, can I take all three? Because that's just the cool super title. Also, I apologize. My door just rang. So in this moment, I'm just gonna quickly go answer. I'm really sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Go. In the meantime, I shall quickly talk about just how excited I am for the next 3 episodes. After we finish Beast Fables, this interlude with Greer, we will be returning to the tales of Pipistrel and Balthazar. Pipistrel has currently been trapped with a malicious squirrel who has stolen a mechanical beetle constructed by Lutzen Tenwhiskers, and we will be looking into Pipistrel's side of the story, having been separated from her protector, Balthazar the Knightly Toad. There's going to be some interesting episodes focusing on Pipistrel's character, and involving a new guest who will be joining the show temporarily for a short time.
I am back. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I was just saying that excited for the next 3 episodes. Yes. Hello.
I'm also sorry, I just realized I forgot to change my avatar in Roll20, so I was a little cat doing a little thumbs up instead of Greer. Oops. Sorry about that. I normally don't schedule anything to come in on Wednesday, but a delivery that was supposed to come on Friday just came early, which usually would be lovely, but unfortunately coincided with this show.
I hate it when packages come early, because it's always when you don't expect them and you can't use them for the thing they're going to be doing anyway.
Yeah, like either you're out of the house or, you know,
or you hadn't planned to use
something.
It then.
Yeah, well, because this was just, this usually doesn't happen, so I very much apologize. But thankfully it was in the middle of a kind of pause between the chapters, so all things considered, the timing wasn't too terrible, even if it wasn't
this is
great
the
in the first
question.
place.
Heat rises,
yes.
Branches break, and iron rings. That should be and iron rings, not an iron rings.
Oh man. Well, I feel honestly, and iron rings just sounds the coolest. And I'm not, because like heat rises is like, oh, maybe fire, or like, you know, the heat of passion and anger. Branches break, branches break. And iron rings. Is it a bell? Is it swords? Are the forges back, baby? Who knows? And I'm kind of excited about that. So I'll choose and iron rings.
Okay. So, to direct the beginning of the scene, I'm going to say that Qiang is going to take you to, is it Hazel? Hazel the Crow?
Hazel.
No, Hazel the Toad.
Walnut. Hazel's the
Walnut the Crow. He's going to take you to Walnut the Crow's house, where Shy is. You begin walking up the tree of Holdall, up the spiral staircase, and then make it to a large concourse of branches that spill out in lots of different directions at the very top. The branches are bound together and then reinforced with wooden supports and bridges between them, and they are wide enough that, again, a badger could walk along a branch to get to these buildings that are larger at the base of the branch, in the center of the tree, and get smaller the further out you go. Branches also go further up as well, surrounded with spiral staircases going to ever slowly growing smaller buildings made of wood. At the very top of the tree, you notice the directions you were given to get to the library are there. And the so like the branch you need to get to the what are they called, the Stitchers Guild, is quite high up, and the elevator is at the base of this concourse, the entrance to this elevator.
So there is a dedicated elevator to the charter house, or is it just part of the elevator that runs up and down? Sorry. Okay.
No. So the elevator goes up to this concourse. I'm gonna put an arrow. This is where the concourse is, of the branches that go off, and the branch that you want to get to the library is quite high up. I haven't drawn all the branches in because it would get messy because it's in 3D.
That's a lot of branches.
But you're at this base here, and there's little spiral staircases that go up to higher branches that then split off to higher tiers.
Gotcha. So the elevator doesn't get up to there. Is what?
No, it just goes up to this base floor here.
Gotcha. Okay, and can I just say that I really hope that as we head up, Hazel is just finishing helping that squirrel get all the squirrels back, and that whole altercation happened as he was just helping the squirrel load the squirrels back into the bandwagon from the Moon Messengers, or from the and he's just like, what happened? Oh, there's Qiang.
It's oh, that was very quick. Jolly good work. And Qiang gives this toad a side eye and just walks right past him.
Standoffish, this little bastard.
Yeah. So, what would Greer like to do? Is Greer going to accompany Qiang to Walnut's house? What's Greer's plan here? She's gonna go collect Shy, and then once they're done with that, she's gonna go to the charter house, because it doesn't look like, as we head up to this base of this higher part of Holdall, there's no chaos here or anything. It looks fine. There's no immediate danger. There are a lot of beasts milling about, especially at the concourse level. Beasts are coming and going. They seem to be talking. You notice now that Qiang is gone, as you're walking up Holdall, the crowds below are splitting off into smaller groups, not necessarily dispersing, and there is a very restless energy at all levels of Holdall right now.
Wait, you say Qiang is gone?
Now, as in no longer speaking to the crowd, now that Qiang is with you.
Sorry, yeah. I thought they just just slipped.
Not just vanished,
away.
No.
Yeah, they're a wizard. Yeah, cool. I mean, good to know. I think, oh man. She will want to go get Shy, and then with this little entourage go up to the charter house, I think.
Okay. So we'll start with that. I just want to know what your plans were. So you're walking towards Walnut's house, which is quite far along one of the lower branches. It splits unexpectedly further on and joins with an even thinner branch, which, as you're walking along, bends ever so slightly. Like when you're walking along a dock and you get that sort of feeling of like up and down as it shifts, like it's ever so slightly shifting in the breeze. It doesn't feel unsecure, but it's shifting slightly. And you notice that each of the branches has handrails that have kind of like woven wicker along the sides to stop people from falling along both sides. And this smaller branch only has wicker along one side, as if it doesn't want to have too much weight on it. You're walking along this smaller branch, and as you get further and further away from different kind of like gatherings of creatures, you notice that Qiang goes from like kind of like hunched and shouldered to kind of standing, breathing more evenly, standing more upright, and eventually after maybe 15-20 minutes you get to the place that he calls Walnut's house. It is a curved domed house, arch almost, basically a birdhouse, large round door, and it seems to be a single room. Qiang looks at you coldly, standing on the doorstep of this premise. You look around and you can see it's maybe like 1 PM now. And you can see that you can see a lot of the bristly woods from this high up vantage point. I'm saying you've got your unflinching, so it's not like you're like afraid of heights, but the toad Hazel behind you is like, this is very high up. He's kind of like very like white hat-knuckled grip on the railing as he's kind of going along, and you look below and you see that it's a long drop to the ground below.
Yeah. I think she'll just say, the trick is not to look down, Hazel.
Hazel then looks down and goes, oh!
Just keep your eyes on my ears. And she kind of like, because they're very high up.
Mm-hmm. He does. And he's like, yes, that is a champion idea. He's sort of edging forwards after you. He's keeping pace, but very much doing his duty, not enjoying it.
God bless toads. Wonderful. So Qiang kind of turns to us, like looking coldly as we're right in front of this house.
Yeah. He's not opening the door or knocking. He's sort of just looking at you coldly. Greer, he can't look down his nose, but it has that same energy.
Yeah. Greer kind of just looks at them. Because it's Shy who's he, him. This is, okay, okay. Qiang looks at them.
I'm going to say that Qiang uses they, him, because he has him energy. I don't know why.
Okay, yeah,
I put him down as they, them in my notes, but they, him feels
they, him.
righter.
Gotcha. So she kind of looks at them like, okay, I guess I'll go first. And she's gonna knock on the door.
There's a pause, and you can hear a little, and then the door kind of opens. It's well oiled, so there's no like, but it kind of opens like a, and a snout and one eye pokes out. Matching the description of Shy.
Yeah.
With, I had a little picture that I drew. Shy has the kind of, you see the kind of the glint of the gold earring in one ear, and then the door swings open, and Shy, who is a much more slender rat, opens the door, looks at you, and then looks past you at Qiang, and then Shy kind of like heaves a sigh of relief and goes, Qiang, there you are. You've kept me very worried. Where have you been?
Oh man, Greer, just eyebrow. Like, if she could raise her eyebrows, she would, raise one at Qiang, just let's hear this.
And then Qiang says, unlike you, I've been doing my job of making relations with Holdall and greeting Holdall. And
I
Shy...
think that's oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. And then Shy's kind of doesn't lower the head in shame, but just sort of like, ugh. Like a sigh of ugh. Qiang kind of turns around and goes back into the house. Which you see is a single, like the door's open now, so you can see it's a large single room with a slightly higher roost, presumably for a crow to sleep in. And it's large enough that you could all fit in there comfortably, but not packed, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Greer will kind of turn to look at Shy and say, if you smell the scent of burning flesh on the air, well, that would be Qiang's welcome to Holdall. And she's going to introduce herself and say, I am Greer. I work as an operative with the Tusk Legion, and I was sent here to recover both you and Qiang and bring you back to within the folds of the Tusk Legion.
Shy seems to take a moment to process this, and then goes over to a desk that he's been working at, and you see there are lots of letters spread out, that it's very messy. You notice that one of his hands has got ink all over it, where he's clearly been writing and then scrunching things up and then writing and then going, oh no, and he kind of looks at you and then looks at Qiang and says, what have you been doing? This isn't... You were meant to speak to guild leaders. You vanish for 2 days. You come back to this? And Qiang looks very coldly at Shy and just says, work needed to be done. You weren't doing anything. And there's a very tense silence.
I think Greer just she'll step inside with Hazel. Kind of she'll I think step inside briskly so Hazel doesn't have to wait outside too much because he's very scared. And
there's a slight break to the silence of of Hazel kind of rushing indoors and putting his back to a wall and be like, and then being silent again.
Yeah. Greer will say, in fact, it's not just myself who was sent to recover you. Hazel here was also dispatched to find you, has been seeking you for the last several days. You have made yourself rather scarce, but it seems that in our final effort to find your, especially yourself, Qiang, you have made yourself very visible.
I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say.
Oh no, she's just I don't know.
Oh, you've made a statement and you're letting it sit.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
I would think I was going for something else. I'm just dumb. But yeah, she's just also Hazel was looking for you. Things suck.
And I think at that point Hazel will kind of croak up and say, yes, I've been here for nearly 3-4 days now, looking all around for you. There's been no word. And at this, Shy turns and says, but I've sent letters every day to the Legion. By the wing words. And he kind of gets this sort of look of annoyance on his face and then side-eyes Qiang. And again, there's a long, awkward silence. Qiang doesn't seem to be wanting to explain anything. He's not answering for anything.
Yeah.
There's no he's got a very composed and cool look on his face. He doesn't feel guilty. of anything that's happened.
I mean, I think Greer's just like standing by the side of the entrance with her arms crossed, just kind of looking at this unravel. She presumes that like maybe Kuyang was supposed to be sending the letters and then wasn't, or something, but this seems to be something between the two of them. So I think she won't say anything in this moment. She's just looking to see if Shai will follow up.
Rather more subtly than you would give him credit for, Hazel is kind of next to you and kind of very gently croaks in your ear. He says, I heard there was an altercation. The Wingwords chapter house earlier this week.
With her kind diplomats.
That's what I heard.
She kind of looks over. Like, is this kind of news to Shai? Is this, how are they reacting? I presume Kuyang's still cool as a cucumber.
He has actually decided to sit in a chair that doesn't match the rest of the furniture. It seems newer, maybe brought here for them. Sits in a chair and sort of actually looks at his nails and seems to kind of be actually looking at himself for the first time. You notice that he looks quite disheveled, as if he's been awake for a long time, and he seems to sort of be gently grooming himself a little bit. Shai kind of nods at what Hazel has said, and Shai kind of turns and says, "You're with the Legion, yes?"
Greer nods.
Who do you work for? Who do you serve?
She does. She's no. She'll say, "Commander Clay sent me here."
And he sort of flicks his eyes up and goes, "Yes, of the."
Remember
of the Legion T13
number.
or T19? No, it's T19.
T19. Yeah, she nods. T19, correct.
That scans. Well, I guess you're part of this now too. I assume you know why we're here?
I was told that you were supposed to be contacting guild leaders to try to forge some manner of connections or hold for the Tusk Legion's message or efforts.
Yes, that's right. Well, Kuyang here is more of the speaker, while I'm better at creating rhetoric and documents, contracts. We were meant to be a team, and he sort of passive-aggressively throws that at Kuyang, and looks back to you and says, Kuyang went out to speak to the guild leaders and disappears for 2 days. We came here originally to speak with our contact, Walnut, who has since gone to speak with a few other guild leaders in other cities, pass some messages for me as a private operative, so to speak. And Kuyang here was meant to speak with local guild leaders. And I'm not a very social person, but I'm good at composing and keeping things together. And he kind of looks back at all the notes and then at the door that is, I'm going to say, still open, letting in like warm mid-afternoon like heat and light. You're in the shade, but you know when you've got like a really hot day outside that sort of has that kind of glow.
Yeah.
And kind of looks down a sec. He says, I probably would have seen this coming if I'd left this place for longer than an hour to get nuts. But as we'll say, as we see, Kuyang here seems to have made a big impact. Or is it a big mess? And again, he's that little bit passive-aggressive, and Kuyang just says, well, I've shared what the Legion does, and what we, as beasts, deserve. Respect and the right to life. And there's a slight quiet pause. Shy then kind of like turns his shoulder, because he can't turn his back, but turns his shoulder to Quyang and says, well, I clearly aren't. I'm not as informed as I should be, and whatever Quyang has done here seems to... Did you say burning flesh?
Greer nods and says, it seems that Quyang's fine rhetoric has whipped the crowd into quite a frenzy. They burned Madra the Venerated, presumably alive.
And as you say that, he kind of snaps his head to Quyang and says, Black Barrows, what have you done? The captain of the guard? We're meant to stabilize these places. We're here to bring creatures together, not tear down the people who defend them. And Quyang simply shrugs and says, I didn't burn him. Holdall decided that he wasn't worthy of the position. Local politics. I truly didn't do that. They built the pyre, and they dragged him on it.
Greer is just looking at him with... like, she has the contempt for complacency and all, but like this crowd was like complacent to just go and just super execute Madro, who's was like the captain of the guard, and I think the fact that Quyang is like, well, I didn't do it, is like, you shut up. She doesn't say anything, but she does look at him with like kind of very thinly
I think he
veiled...
reads that look as a challenge. Like he sees it. He sees this sort of stuff a lot, being like in theory, air quotes, a diplomat. And he kind of, he sees the mood and he says, I didn't build the pyre, I didn't throw him on, the people did. And do you want to know why? Because when I told them about how we didn't need to worry about the bargains of creatures who may or may not eat us, they told me that, any beast he took into custody he didn't like the look of, disposed of. Someone who didn't fit, didn't think could be reformed, couldn't be bothered to brand, didn't want the ceremony, the law. Felt it was easier, quick snap of the jaws. Venerated is a title.
Yeah.
But everything he did... Yeah, that's right, I'm just kind of dramatic pausing.
Yeah,
He's like, everything he did got him what he deserved. I didn't do it. Holdall did it.
I think at this, her ears... Yeah, I think her ears kind of like flicked a little bit. Because she didn't know the guy, she didn't know what's up. I think her, I don't know, I think her eyes are just kind of like narrow a little bit and says, the feelings of that crowd seem to soar very high. All that anger spilling over. Even if Madro deserved it, at some point, their righteous anger, their thirst for vengeance could have struck someone who did not deserve that end. That's what concerns me, is this unrestricted chaos. Among the Tanners, you do not have room for a mistake. If you strike down the wrong mark, you are a butcher, a murderer, not a tanner.
And who decides who is the right mark? Who pays you to do these jobs?
I don't personally, I don't
It would
know.
be the point he's
Because
making
they're
is
like
guild leaders. It could be the predators and the people who live in this system.
Yeah. Well, because
Yeah.
because if someone's like she says, if someone was we hunt those who are branded, those who are deemed to not fit within whatever societies they came from. It is the
Those
people
societies are rife with this violence, this fear of death at every corner you turn. That something bigger could just come along and eat you if it wanted to. No matter what you do, no matter where you live, or who you know, you can't wander the forest at night without thinking, I might die. You can't grow in the fields without thinking that some boar might walk along and eat everything. Your home, your family, leave you with nothing.
She looks at Kriang and says, I'm tired of running too, but she kind of looks back at where, in the direction of where all the commotion would be, all the way from here. And she says, perhaps I did act under my own emotions about what I saw. I don't like seeing people play executioners when they don't have the entire picture. But what started here... We're pretty good at following the lines, knowing what will happen next, what must be done for the next step of what we embark on. Here, I have a bad feeling of what this will spell for the Legion and for the people who live here.
And he kind of looks at you, a tinge of pity. And he says, you've a vested interest in this system. You'll see, in the end, that we don't have to live like this. I don't feel shame for what I've said, for who I've spoken to. And Shy, you notice that Shy has shuffled up a lot of the papers on the desk and put them into a satchel. And Shy actually interjects and says, whatever damage you've done, you'll answer to White Flank for this. This isn't okay. And Qiang just shrugs.
I think Greer kind of... Because, she considers what Qiang says of, you benefit kind of from this and stuff, and she... Because this is all that she knows. But she, she's not like, no, you're wrong! She kind of takes this in her stride. And she kind of sighs, and says, well, what is done is done. Start packing up your things. We have to leave. Soon.
And I'm going to say they spend the next half hour rapidly grabbing bits and bobs. Shy writes a letter for Walnut, the crow. Do you want to try and read it? Or just leave it private? You've got like a half hour of time.
Does he just leave it on the a table, or? I
think he folds. If he were to write it in his own way, he would write it, fold it, seal it, and then pin it next to.
She won't. Roost. She won't unseal it. No.
I mean, more like peer over his shoulder as he's writing it. Do you want to try and subtly read it, or do you want to just... Is there something else you want to do in this sort of half hour of respite?
She would let them know that they're going to stop by the charter house of the Stitchers before they leave. And because there was that whole thing. There was an altercation at the wing words. I don't think I ever got the full context for that. Like, did they just get into trouble with them, and that's why they refused?
You haven't investigated. You know,
So
you
she
are
would,
aware of it.
Yeah. So she would like to kind of get some follow up on that. From like Shy or someone.
So you talk with Shy a little bit about it, and Shy doesn't actually know what happened.
Oh.
Shy just knows that Qiang disappeared, and I think the only person who could tell you what actually happened would be Qiang.
Okay, so she'll kind of, because she'll kind of say, that, we're all here because of these messages apparently weren't getting through. Like what happened there, basically, is how she's
quite open now that Qiang is calmed.
Yeah,
they are much cooler. They're not necessarily hiding anything. They don't feel like they have to be manipulative. Qiang says, "I went there and I spoke to that vile hawk, an eagle, actually, single-winged." Yellow-beaked, golden-crowned. Pierce the Auburn, they call him. Turns out, he runs the Ringwords. All of them. I spoke to several the last week that we've been here. They fear him. At any moment, taking a message, having a meeting, he could just peck them. Gone. Tits and sparrows carry messages. This monster, 20 times the size. It's ridiculous.
So he was the head of
all of the work that they do, the messages they carry, the favors they earn for this guild, pay pittance to them. And fills his gluttonous belly with fish, if not for eating their flesh. Not to rephrase that. He might not eat them, but they have this fear that he could, and they work themselves flying this whole forest just to stop him from trying. So I raised that with him. Sorry, yeah. I feel like I need a little flag.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's cool. He says, so I raised that with him, and we had an argument. Now he's finished. Sorry.
She kind of considers his words and says, "You say he controls all the charter houses of the Wingwords."
And he nods.
I guess White Flank will need more of those doves working for them. We can't rely on them now. And she kind of thinks for a little bit, and because there was like something about, or actually she'll say, had the mob gotten to him as well?
He smirks a little bit and kind of shakes his head and says, "Yeah, but his day's coming."
She kind of sighs a little bit, and oh man, she'll just say, well, given what you've started here, that may well be so.
Qiang
I think
doesn't
she's sorry.
quite reply. He sort of acknowledges it with a look, and he actually goes and sits. He's packed now. Qiang,
okay.
Shai's taking a bit more time. Qiang's packed. Qiang actually goes and sits on the road branch outside the hut with his like tail and feet dangling over the edge, and he's just staring down at the ground below. It doesn't seem like he's going to like jump or anything, but he's just sort of, he seems very like stone, like very closed off.
Yeah. Oh man, I think Greer trying to move things along. She's gonna see if like Shy needs any help or anything. Just to like pick something up and whatever. But I think she's she's not gonna go pursue Kuyang to speak in like about anything because I think like coming in here she didn't really know what their relations were. She also doesn't know if he's like she doesn't know like she hasn't spoken with these individual birds or the guard people, but she is inclined to believe him because it's like like that that would check out. So I think her perspective in all this is like she still doesn't like that he was just like he was this is not what he was supposed to do. He's doing this so in like the Legion's name, and it's just like weird. Hang on a second. I think she's more irked at that than she is at everything else.
Yeah.
And her like that initial kind of like a lot of her grievance with him was kind of charged with that. But now as she's hearing a little more, she's kind of like she sees his point and all, but I think as the like kind of pretty much executioner cased among the beasts, she's just like we're tempered, we're kind of like I think she doesn't like the idea of people or these beasts kind of going a little haywire and going for anyone, because especially if there's like the omnivores, some people might start going at them, and it's like maybe they they're not as bad, but some people might say they may well be. So I think she just sees this as a very slippery slope into judge, jury, executioner of the mob, which could get a lot of innocent people caught up, and I think that's what she's like particularly apprehensive about or kind of annoyed about. A
lot of complex thoughts happening. I'll say you spend the rest of the time packing up Shy's stuff, and you're able to make your way up towards the chapter house of the Stitchers Guild. Is there anything you want to try and do as you go up there?
Kind of looking around or like sensing around, is there the smell of burning, or is there does it seem like the energy has kind of shifted or changed in any way among the denizens of Holdall?
It seems just as distressed. You see a couple beasts are walking quickly to places they go. There's no casual strolling. There's no sitting anymore. Beasts are going places or are gathered in groups.
You
still smell smoke.
Don't like that. I don't think there's anything else that she can kind of really, or she's very much just like, okay, let's get this done. Let's get out of here. So she's just gonna go straight for that charter house. Or actually, she might just you know what? On the way there, kind of going out of the house, she's going to inquire about Walnut and just kind of ask like, like how they met, or if she can find anything out. She kind of ask like, this liaison of yours, it seems to have been well connected. If they got you to speaking with guild leaders, how did you meet them? Stuff like that. She might ask Shy, because they might be a little.
Like Shy would explain that they met, as Captain Clay had told you, they met at a battlefield where boars had been fended off, and explains that Walnut seems to be an opportunist who knows a lot of people, and contrast to the image that carrion crows have, doesn't tend to like large wars and death, is interested in general peace and prosperity, and seems to just want to help contribute towards that in a similar way that you contribute to the Legion. Believes in the ideas the Legion has, but doesn't want to be a part of the Legion necessarily.
Gotcha, yeah. Well, won't be happy with what he finds here.
Apparently, most recently, he had flown, Walnut, had flown to Fort Ard and then was going to be taking messages onto Spoolkeep in regards to ideas that Shai had proposed.
Okay.
The idea being that he'd seed the ideas of what the Legion would be thinking of, and the ideas that White Flank had about living out of tyranny, and kind of sowing those seeds very gently so that they'd be more amenable to conversation about joining whatever new society this Legion is forming in the future.
Yeah. I might go to shit, given what's happening here. The Legion will come and burn your birds.
You get up to the higher branches, and the Stitchers Guild is actually built in between three branches that kind of stick almost upright, and it sways ever so slightly in the wind. The lovely warm summer breeze that's coming through. It's maybe not 2 PM now. The whole, to some degree, you've kind of lost sight of a lot of Holdall because there are so many branches now sticking upwards as opposed to outwards. And the tree itself is, there are many buildings everywhere. You're sort of looking over at such a height, it all seems so small now. There are a couple perches built into the building here designed for birds to land. And it seems to be a moderately sized building with which rises up. Seems to have a couple wings of different places animals can go. And it seems sized for creatures of like mole and hare size and smaller to go inside. A badger would kind of struggle.
Okay. Well, she will knock and enter she'll knock on the door.
You kind of try the door and it's locked.
Oy. That's not good. She kind of looks up. She's gonna call out, maybe the keepers are like somewhere in, I don't know, a library or something right now. So she's going to call out something like, "Ho! Any stitchers abound?"
Make a cunning check. You're trying to listen for a response.
Can I use my keen ears?
Oh, you can.
I will use my key. Uh-oh.
Huh? 2 complications. You pause, and you don't hear anything.
She frowns. She'll turn to Hazel and say, have you heard anything about the Stitchers' activity in the last few days?
She's kind of grabbed onto a small, jutting branch and is very much holding it steadily. The branches up here are much thinner than the main thoroughfare. And he says, not really. I've not been trying to track down a Stitcher. I've been trying to track these two. I wouldn't know, sorry. He's very much looking at the tips of your ears.
Yes, very good, very good. She's kind of flicking them a little, so, it's...
His little metronome, he's sort of like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. She's gonna turn around, and, I think her plan is that she's gonna try to just strong arm in, and, if anyone is there, she's like, hey, don't worry, but if not, she's just gonna, try to find what she can and just leave Hiccup's letter and insignia. He won't be happy that I left his insignia. I'm gonna leave his letter. But yeah, I she's not gonna go idle, so she's just gonna look back at the door, and then she's gonna use her mighty back legs to just try and kick it in.
Make a vigor roll for me.
Okay. And actually, just before she does, she will just say, "Well, sorry about this, but I'm coming in." And mighty back leg, vigor. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, and you know what?
2 more complications.
Can I use my auto success device on this?
Oh, yes, I will allow
my
that.
My ego of I'm entering.
You're like, I'm entering. You kick the door, and you're like, no, you didn't hear me. I'm coming in.
Yeah.
The door slams open. You see that there is like a main hall, and there's no doors in this place. There's like 2 halls. One splits off to some side rooms. The other veers off towards a large cylindrical library that raises up higher into the branches with a few steps. You stride in and see no one. And then there's a of books that fall. If you're kind of let me draw a plan so you can kind of get the vibe I'm going for. Like, if this is like the hallway, and there's like the library is sort of here, like books fall here and they've fallen from higher up that you can't see because of the perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're walking this way in.
She just kind of nods to herself and walks in that direction. And as she walks towards the library, she will say out loud, I do apologize for the intrusion, but I come here on behalf of a fellow Stitcher.
Make a cunning check for me. This is about perception and about feeling a mood.
All right. I don't think I will tag anything for this because she's very much just like, hey, I'm coming in. I don't think she gets to tag anything for this. So cunning?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very good at it though.
You kind of say, I'm looking for a fellow Stitcher, and you pause just before you walk into the room, and it's as if you see everything all at once. You see the broken glass. You see the books, fallen scrolls on the ground. There are no Stitchers in this building. There is, however, someone who is not a Stitcher, and you immediately, like, it's almost an instinct. You're like, uh-oh, there is someone who is gutting this place.
Do I see, like, who it is? Like, do I see a
You haven't
person?
entered the room.
Oh,
so
okay.
You've called out, you're pretty sure they know you're there, and more books are falling down,
and
but you haven't entered the room yet.
Yeah, so they think I'm, like, I don't know that they're there, or that I think they're a Stitcher. So from this, like, this kind of bullet time, kind of moment of, like, my hair senses are tingling, she goes into a very quick run, and she's gonna basically try to, like, like, parkour up these, using her mighty legs. Pushing herself up to elevate herself, because presumably this person's somewhere up above, to basically, like, what I want her to do is run in, go book, and, like, if she manages to get the right height, she will just use both of her legs to just kick into this person, like, land on them, and presumably fall down with them.
I'm gonna change this to...
She's cool!
Conflict. Yeah, she's gonna parkour... Leg slap. Okay, I want you to make a vigor roll. You don't know the layout of this room, so it's at disadvantage.
But I have mighty back legs.
It's difficult to parkour, but you have mighty back legs. Well, I'm going to say that the mighty back legs allows you to achieve this height, to make this possible, so you'll have to tag something else to get a regular straight roll.
Guerrilla tactics.
Oh, of course. Great, sure.
Vigor, was it? Sorry.
Yeah, so it's a straight roll.
Oh, okay.
That is a success.
Yes.
Oh, hang on though. It's a person. You know what this means? It's a contested roll.
Oh, heck! But I got the, I know that they come...
Yeah, they rolled a hijinks.
Person! You suck! So, can I say that the result of their hijinks is that not only do I, like, get into them, but they will fall and I will land on top of them? like pinning them down to the ground. Not killing them, like pinning them down.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say you land. Yeah, so we'll say that. So you jump, you spring, your foot hits some books, they scatter. You launch forward, you jump off of a beam, and then you pounce onto them. They are a magpie, and you slam into them before you can really get any other details. They slap into the ground, and they seem to have been expecting you. You notice they have some kind of bandolier of books, some filled, some empty, underneath their wings, and they immediately slam to the ground, their head knocks, their beak slaps into a bookcase, some books scatter down, there's like a hesitation where you both look at each other, and then with its strong bony beak it tries to peck you. So it's going to try and brute force you. How do you want to try and deal with this?
I think let's see here. I think that she will just try to dodge to get herself in a position to, dodge to the side so she can then push with her hand on the beak sideways to pin it down to the ground. So she's preparing herself for a counter strike. Okay, so that's not a cunning roll. So make a cunning roll for me. Yeah. Can she? Can I tag unflinching for being prepared for anything? No, because you sprung the advantage. I'd say that's more like if someone had ambushed you. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah, let's see. So they've rolled a 4. Ooh. You try to lean back, but then they buck you with their legs. It throws you off balance, and the beak pecks forward. You manage to, clap your hands onto the beak and prevent it from pecking you, but you're at a disadvantage. This doesn't hurt you, but you take either a vigor or a cunning damage. This is a representative of the conflict. Vigor. Yeah, she's in a subpar position physically, but maybe she'll manage to cunning her way out of it. Yeah, so you catch the beak just in time, and its bone wears down your hands. You've got this is the kind of situation in what do you do? She will, is she, on her back now, or is she just kind of still on top of it? I'd say, you're kind of on top of it, but you're kind of being leveraged off. You don't have the advantage of dominating them anymore, of, having that weight on them. She will, as she's kind of holding that, because she kind of stopped the beak from really digging into her, so she still has it in her hands. Yeah. Basically, what she's going to try to do is just pull the beak forward and kind of do almost as if she was trying to do a leapfrog over its head, but land with her legs on its head to pin it down again. Ooh, to kind of slap. Okay, cool. That will be a cunning roll because you're kind of maneuvering around them. Can I tag my mighty back legs to give me leverage in this situation? Okay. As I'm using my leg to get him. So I rolled a 5. I'll take my 5. So you manage to kind of push. They try and push against, but then your legs slam down and smack them again into the wood of this balcony where these books are kept. And they kind of let out this squawk. You hear below you the kind of croak of far down the corridor of Hazel going, are you all right? You just disappeared and now there's crashing. She will just say, "Little help here." The magpie then twists its shoulder, its kind of wing underneath you, and then tries to shunt you off. It's literally just lifting and flinging you.
this will be a vigor check, but you can tag things.
Okay. So I'm... but it's still contested. I just roll a vigor check.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's diminished, so... No!
Well, I was gonna ask, like, if you want to tag anything, but,
you said I can't tag anything.
I thought you can. It has to be a vigor roll, but you can tag something.
Oh, I thought you said you can't tag something. And I'm just like, so it's just a straight roll. Sorry, that's why I asked.
Sorry. Well, you can, if you tag something, I'll let you roll again and see what happens.
I would have probably tagged Tireless for, like, even though she's in this scuffle, like, she's not letting, this thing, like, she's still going up against it with all her might, even though she's been, like, pecked and stuff. So, if I may, please, storyteller. Is that sufficient?
The conflict has been about 6-10 seconds. I don't think Tireless tags here.
What about Grim Determination, then? I'm really gonna get this goddamn magpie.
Okay, sure. I'll let that, yeah.
Thank you.
It's like different vibes. If you've been fighting for like a long time, but it's like your third fight of the night, then I'd let you be like, yeah Tireless, you get your second wind. But
at least it's not a high jinx.
So I'm gonna roll for the magpie now, as it tries to shove you off and see what happens. 4. So it beats you. It's not necessarily a complication in the sense of it's just whoever rolls higher in a contest who succeeds. It manages to push you off, and you roll off of the balcony and onto the ground below. You take any ability in damage, and then we'll describe what that looks like for you. So any ability, but you take 1 damage.
I don't want to take Vigor. I'd say... honestly, realistically, I'd say cunning damage because she's disoriented. Yeah, even though I don't want her to take cunning damage, but I think that's the one that's most appropriate. Where she's just kind of like dizzied and bashed because she like spun down and suddenly hit the ground.
Yeah, so you try to catch yourself, but you slam into the ground, and you're winded. It's not like you're actually hurt, but you're like, oh god, and you turn around and like a book falls on your head, as the magpie starts to scramble, and you hear like a as it seems to be trying to be like to start flying. You throw the book off your head and you look around and you see that like one of the windows where there was a perch has just been smashed open, and that's why there's glass on the ground. You're taking in more of the space around you. It's trying to fly to the top of the library and then out of a window. You hear down the hall the kind of the toad. Hazel. Just kind of like running along like a barrel charge. Like, ah!
Is he running towards me?
Yes, into the room.
Okay.
But he's not there yet.
Oh, okay.
What are you gonna do? Tell me.
I would have wanted, like, he comes in, and I would have just grabbed him and fling him at the magpie.
Oh god, do it, yes.
Guerrilla tactics!
Yup, do a vigor roll.
Would this count as guerrilla tactics?
Oh yes, with advantage.
Thank you. Oh, I have a damage in my vigor, I'm so scared. Success? Or a success. Oh,
oh, this is a tie. So you're both rolling d6s, you're both rolling 5s. We're gonna have to do it again.
Oh no. So I don't get my advantage for this?
No, you do, but we just completely re-roll again.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a total tie. Because tie is broken by the person who has the higher die size, but you have the same size of dice.
Right now, yeah, because it's diminished. Okay. Oof.
So I've got a 4, you've got a 3, and a...
No!
Oh no!
Why did I use my auto-success on breaking down the door? God damn it!
You watch... It's just because it's unexpected. He's down for it once he realizes what's happening, but you grab Hazel by the scruff and by the rump, and you just, with his momentum, just throw him up at this crow, and he's like, what is going on, magpie? And he puts his arms out to try and grab the magpie, and instead slams into bookcase and then falls down, like, the bookcase not falling on him, but the books and the scrolls. He's like,
no,
and you gotta let that groan. And this magpie is like flapping. It kind of tries to catch itself on the ledge. I'm gonna say you've got one more thing before it actually escapes the building.
I'm gonna follow the lines.
Oh, what are you
I'm
gonna
gonna take out my knife and try to hit it in like a spot that, like somewhere in like the collarbone, where if it tried to fly, it would dig in further.
Like it
and,
would disable the
sever.
motion of the wing. It couldn't be able to move it. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that's a cunning check.
Yeah.
Unless you want to phrase it somehow. Like how are you phrasing this?
There's a moments of kind of faltering, you know, her few attempts at stopping this creature being stifled or overcome by the creature itself. And then she reaches for her knife, and the familiarity of that shape and weight brings her confidence. So I would like to use my willpower.
Yeah, definitely. Use your willpower. And I'll let you use advantage because you're
follow
following the lines.
Yeah. Is it contested again?
Technically it is.
Can you roll first? Just so I know.
Rolled a 5.
Oh no! No!
You throw the knife. If it had been like a hijinks, it would have gone out the window and it would have just been gone. You throw the knife, and the magpie manages to, like, it pins, I'm gonna say, because it was so close and it's a cool idea. You cut the strap of one of the bandolier of books, and it falls as the magpie goes out the window, but it escapes with the other books.
Oh my god, I'm so upset.
And it gives one glance back at you before it is gone out the window.
Oh, I'm so upset. I can't believe I used my auto success on the stupid door. I'm so mad at myself. Man.
As Hazel is getting free of this pile of books, the bandolier like, and he's like, oh, he's grabbing his head like, oh, little round sad boy.
She is angry. Kind of breathing heavily after this conflict. She's gonna kind of scramble up to Hazelnut to both pick him up and see this bandolier.
I'm gonna go to this playlist instead. Not that one. No, it's too happy. Can't be happy.
They're too whimsical. I'm defeated and I feel very sad right now.
Yeah. You go over to the bandolier, and you have you've got a steel trap memory, so you remember the kinds of books that our good friend Hiccup had asked you to get, and you recognize 2 or 3 of the titles of the books. They're generic treatises and more like dictionaries on the information that has been assembled in this library. He wanted you to specifically get these because if they were lost, it represents a digest of knowledge that can't be replaced.
Yeah. I think
You recognize 2 or 3 of maybe the 10 books he wanted you to get.
Oh, I'm so mad! Oh, after all those good rolls on the crowd, I just get bodied by this dumb magpie. I'm gonna get this thing. I'm gonna destroy it. I know this is the last of Greer's interlude, but if we ever return to her, I want to hunt this thing down and just.
Wouldn't that be great if we come back to Greer and
things.
Greer's got like a magpie hood?
Yeah. Next time we see her, she's just turned full magpie slayer.
You are looking at this and kind of letting the anger slowly recede so that you can think when Shy comes into the room and says, Tanner? You did introduce yourself as Greer, didn't you?
Yeah.
Greer, I think we need to go.
She's collecting the books. Yeah, sorry. What are you saying?
But he's like, you're kind of collecting books. He's like, no, we need to go now. It's not looking good out there. I think something's happened.
So she just collects those books that she saw, right? That were there in the bandolier. Like she probably just it's still part of that bandolier. She just kind of picks it up.
Yeah.
Slings it over her shoulder. Looks at she's gonna like pick up Hazel from the books and scrolls. And says yeah, no, I think actually no, because she assumes it's bad, as in like we got to get out, like something's on fire or something. She's just gonna pick up Hazel. And does he have like a bag or anything, or is there like a basket or something around here on this balcony, like a wicker basket?
What are you hoping to do?
I want to just put in as much books in here, even if they're just random books, just like whatever she can right now, because if things are bad.
You just say grab some books, and Hazel goes hop, and he just the big old scoop of books and scrolls and tablets. We'll say that he has grabbed books. Yeah.
And she'll kind of also grab whatever she can. Because if anything, they'll just return it. But if worse comes to worse, we're boned. And she's gonna kind of jump down to that lower level, where Shy is, and say, any idea of how we can get out here? If it's as bad as you say, I presume the stairs won't be sufficient.
You look out from the entrance of the Stitcher's chapter house, now defiled. You look out, and it's odd. There's this sense of calm high above it, but you look down, and you see, because it's quite far away, you see like a mass of beasts at the thoroughfare, and another mass of beasts on some of the branches, and people can't descend, and you hear just the general like hubbub of yelling, and you smell more smoke. Actually, you see like a haze of smoke. You ask like, how can we get down? And Shai says, well, we might try the lift. It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be available to this side of the groups that are forming there. If we're quick, or
yeah.
Well, I'm not sure.
She nods. And says, well, it seems the folk on the stairs are stuck, so our best other option, let's go. And she'll move in the direction of the elevator. And as we pass on, can we can she kind of like hear whether people are yelling like, fire, the tree's on fire, or something?
Make a cunning check.
Can I use my keen ears?
Yes.
Never mind. I was gonna say now I roll great, but 4 and a 1 is great.
Well, a 4 and a 1 is still good. Oh, it's exactly what you got before.
Oh, it is. Very unlucky combination.
You hear all sorts of talk, especially as you're going to get descending. It's taking time because Hazel can't hold the railing anymore because he's got an armful of books. So he's like,
oh God.
And he's very nervous. He drops one book and it off into like the Great Divide. Yeah. And he's like, ooh. You hear people.
It's all right, Hazel. just look at my ears.
He can't see your ears because there's books in the way. You hear the cries of birds and gulls above. You hear the cry of an eagle. You hear beasts yelling. It seems that things have come to a head.
Yeah.
Things aren't good. And you smell smoke, but no one seems to be crying fire. You are making your way down. You're moving through, a quieter Suddenly, where there were beasts walking around quite quickly, some of the streets are completely empty. Others have gangs of beasts going up and down them. Speaking, you see families with kids, like holding pups and with bags. There's either a lot of movement or pockets of quiet. You're moving down a street to join a larger one when you see in the corner of your eye a crow start to swoop towards you.
She's just very quickly going to ask Shy, is that Walnut or a foe?
Shy looks and goes, foe! And it's approaching extremely quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's now on the level. It looks, with its head low and its wings out, it looks like it's going to try and sweep you.
I would like to kind of stay, turn towards it. Because I have that bandolier of books. I'm not carrying books in my hands.
Yeah.
Stand my ground and basically what are they called? Toreadors? Like the people who, you know, do the thing with the bulls.
Yeah.
At the last moment kind of turn and strike it with my knife.
That's gonna be a cunning roll.
Can I tag unflinching as I stand my ground? Okay, I have a d6 for
it's
cunning.
It's not going to be contested. This is a different kind of event.
Okay.
So it's a critical success.
Yeah. Or actually,
the glint. Oh yeah,
I think
because
I didn't tag following the lines because I forgot she doesn't really take out her knives to. Because the magpie was pretty bad, but I think actually no, she'd take out her knife just to kind of not to kill it, but just to kind of strike at its side to maybe sever some of the wings that help it maneuver. Feathers, stuff like that. She's not naming it. Is what I wanted to say.
You actually keep your knives sheathed, and you stay low, and it seems to swing, and almost as if challenging it, you meet its eye, and as it comes past, you draw out the knife. The glint of the knife in the sunlight sparkles in its eye, and it suddenly realizes what's going to happen. It veers. You manage to slice a couple of its guiding wings at the end, or guiding feathers at the end of its wing, and it starts to spiral away rapidly. There's a rush of wind. A couple scrolls fly off of Hazel's pile.
Hazel.
He squats low and doesn't cry out. Actually has a calm head now that it seems to be coming to violence. And the crow lets out a massive caw of frustration before swooping off elsewhere. It seems to have been looking for easy prey. It doesn't come back. You hear greater sounds of now cries, indistinguishable yells between these two crowds growing.
Her ears just kind of swish in annoyance, and she's gonna continue towards the lip. She's gonna make sure that Qiang and Shy and Hazel are fine. Collect them and kind of corral them towards the lift.
They also are fine as well. They seem to be good at keeping their cool in combat.
They were soldiers, so makes sense.
Yeah.
And she just kind of nods her head towards the direction of the lift. Let's go.
You continue further down one of these main streets, and you find there's a large group of beasts. They are on one side of the street, blocking away. The backs of them, you see rats, you see pine martens, and there's even a puffin amongst the crowd. And on the other side, you see that there are moles and otters, and they seem to be being backed into a smaller branch and up a smaller branch. The rats and the smaller beasts are carrying, some of them have boar spears, as if they were taken from guards. Others seem to just have sharp objects. the yells that they are crying out are filled with malice.
Wait, they are. Sorry, I don't think I have a very good idea of the scene. The rats, the people who might have taken stuff from the guards, are screaming in malice at other beasts that are being corralled into a smaller place.
Yes, at a group of moles and otters, and there's a wild cat amongst them as well.
Oh man. Wait, moles?
Mm-hmm.
Poor moles.
Moles technically are carnivorous. They eat
I
mostly
guess.
worms, but they can only eat meat.
Well, yeah. Well, they're insectivores. Man. She. Are they like in our way, so to say, like on our path?
They block your way. Oh, I was gonna say they block your way, and you'll have to take a diversion or find a way to go through them. The diversion would take longer.
Yeah. The people who are being corralled, or the beasts that are corralled into a smaller space, if there was an opening for them, would they be able to kind of disperse? Like how bad is their situation, let's say?
It doesn't seem great. You don't know the navigation or the way these branches connect in this strange spider web of a city, and they seem afraid. Maybe they don't realize they could flee somewhere else.
I don't know, once again, I still have a kind of not the best idea of physically where I am in regards to all of these other people and where they are dispersed on the area. But if Greer were to kind of, on her way passing through this thing, if she were to kind of jump on the branch that all of this vanguard is walking down, just to kind of like make it sway so they all have to go whoa whoa and like catch themselves to give these other people a moment of time to run, would she be able to do that?
Yeah, so let's say like this is what the branch looks like. You're coming through this way, the crowd are here, and then the beasts they're corralling are here. So like they're in the way. You could take a diversion to the left, but they're in the way of the main path you want to take. So you're going to jump on the branch and try and shake the whole branch.
Well, I think just like, would she be able to go like here? And man, I so should have saved my auto success. I'm so
if
bad.
You want to jump, you can jump. It would be I would say a vigor roll.
Yeah, I could tag my mighty legs, right, for this, because I'm really good at leaping.
Because you're good at bouncing and landing.
Yeah, if I roll a hijinks, I'm just gonna fucking fall. But whatever. Sure. I think Gru's just like, okay, we gotta go. And she's gonna, like, jump here to basically, like, try and like, as if she's circumventing everyone, and then she's gonna try to, like, yell at these people and jump here to basically, like, go! Just to, once again, position herself somewhere between this chaos.
Yeah, okay, so make a vigor roll.
I'm so stressed. I'm so foolish. No! Yes! My mighty legs. Thank you.
That was getting stressful there. You leap, you land, the branch shakes, suddenly startled at the size of a hair appearing in front of them. The otters, the cats, they immediately run. Some stumble back and fall backwards.
Like Greer would kind of land, and I imagine there's like a moment of pause, and then she'd say, "Well, are your feet as thick as your wits? Go!" And
some of them have already started running. The ones that are on the ground, I would say you give one of them a hand up, and they start to scrabble back. You notice that none of them have weapons. They all seem to be wearing simple clothes. One of them has a day bag, like a satchel, but they don't seem ready to do anything. They seem like they're going about their daily business.
Yeah.
Then you turn to the beasts. Some of them, they all now have their weapons pointed at you. The rats, and there's a puffin that seems to be leading them.
So I didn't get to jump on further away.
Well, that'll be another check.
Oh, okay. Oh no. Well, I think she just because she wanted to basically get past them to disperse them so everyone else can run through. So I think she just doesn't pay them the like any attention. She's just like, I gotta go. My people need me.
Yeah. Make a vigor roll for me.
Can I tag my mighty back legs for this again, or do I need something else?
I'd say something else, because the branch is swaying, that advantage has been lost.
Yeah, in that case, I would say, I would tag either my unflinching in terms of I'm not afraid of the swaying branch, or guerrilla tactics, where you have to improvise and know sometimes things don't go your way, but you're still kind of focused on the job. Okay,
I'll let you tag that.
Okay, vigor. Oh god, I'm so stressed. Okay.
You leap from the branch and it shakes again, and then it shakes up and down, and then some of the beasts, one of them begins to fall and grabs onto the edge of the branch and the kind of the thoroughfare, and another's like, oh god, James, and he kind of puts his hand out to grab him, and the beasts suddenly feel like not dispersed, but they're shaking, they're moving. The puffin is flapping. The puffin actually starts to fly up and is like flying away, and that clears space for the other beasts that are with you, for Shai and Qiang and Hazel to quickly dart through, and you make your way towards the lift. Now I'm going to say it's all coming to a head. You are running now in the main, or towards the main thoroughfare, and you see that there is active fighting. On the side that you are part of, there seem to be mostly more predator beasts. There is a hawk. You've never seen a hawk before. A one-winged hawk, presumably Pierce the Auburn, who is pecking down and screeching at a congregation of rats and dormice and frogs and lizards who are fighting back with spears. There are wildcats lashing out at shrews and songbirds that are batting at them. And all of these more prey-like creatures have the stairs and are preventing them from leaving. This seems to be some kind of fight or chaos. You're not sure how it started.
Yeah. And, they're in the middle of my path to the lift.
I'm gonna do a diagram. I'm gonna say there's also then people... So, if this is where the stairs are, and this is the thoroughfare, this is the hole that birds can fly through. That's the stairs. The prey are here, preventing going down the stairs.
Yeah.
The elevator is here. There is a throng of beasts trying to get up and down the elevator, and there are prey, or predators even, here, with more branches coming out this way, and you're coming in sort of this way.
I'm coming down from there. Well, kind of at a glance, the elevator, there's people who want to get in. And then the stairs are kind of relatively free?
They are semi-packed with prey, more of them running up. It just depends what do you want to do. Do you want to try and go down the stairs, or do you want to go down the elevator?
Well, I think the elevator is going to be too packed. We don't even know if it's running right now, so I think the stairs are actually a better bet. And I think this whole situation, this is more of just because with the procession earlier, or with the mob, the people were tied up and kind of getting killed. They're fighting. These guys have a pretty good chance because they're predators. These guys have a pretty good chance because there's a lot of them. They have weapons. She's not going to interfere. This isn't her business. This is an equal fight, so to say, to some extent. And she's just yeah, it sucks for them, but if they wanted to, they could probably just run away. The predators. So I think she's gonna just try and go here. And just jump down onto the stairs from a higher elevation, so she doesn't have to go in the walkway. Yeah.
You're going to circumvent the fight, you're going to try and jump down onto the stairs and run through the chaos with your friends in tow. Okay, so this is going to be a cunning roll. You're running forwards. I think it would be a cunning roll to try and navigate the chaos and the people bustling around.
Kind
of clearing a path for the others to follow around you. Yeah.
Can I tag my sinister aura where it's just like she's just this like, you know the way that in the Winter Soldier movie, the Winter Soldier like walks forward with this menace in his eyes and everybody's like, I gotta get out of the way.
I think you've also got your knives out as well, which is really adding to that, like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Get away from the stab bun. So I just kind of like want to have an intimidating presence as I move forward.
I'd say that's a willpower check then. Roll willpower with advantage.
I shall do that. Ha! Hua!
What did you get? You got a complication and a success. You managed to clear enough of a path that you're able to get... I'm going to move your... Oh, I just drew through your character.
Oh,
New scar.
Delete the red... Oh, I'll move her. Okay, you got it.
Move it... Yeah, you got it. You kind of move over to here. Now you need to get down onto the stairs. It's going to be a bit of a drop. And you will probably have to lower creatures... one by one to get far enough down, because it's maybe like a 10-foot equivalent beast-size drop.
Yeah.
To get far enough down the stairs that you can get a...
But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you want to lower?
She's gonna be happy. Sorry?
Who do you want to lower? How do you want to do this, basically?
Well, I was actually thinking that she can jump down first and then catch them. Though also, if she were to kind of... Actually, if she were to dangle off the side, could they just climb off of her and have a less of a drop?
Yeah, so I would say that'd be a vigor roll. To let them climb down you.
I'm looking if there's anything I can tag, but I don't think I actually have anything here. I guess, well, no, because would Tireless kind of come into...
I would say Tireless would come into it, because you're being through a lot, but you're not going to give up.
Yeah, she's been at it, so kind of to keep her grip. So this was Vigor, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. Why am I good at these but bad at contested checks? I call shenanigans.
Okay, so you rolled... I should just switch my headphones, because my... Bluetooth ran out of battery. Critical success. You lower them down, and it is extremely tiring. But you keep all of the tension in your upper arms. You don't balance with your lower legs because you see an opportunistic cat coming over to swipe at you. Out of fear, out of anger, you don't know. And as it gets close, you let go and are able to land safely on your back legs, much lower down, away from the danger. Now it is a mad dash to get out of the Holdall.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be going down that spiraling staircase, trying to, with her larger stature, just kind of trying to shoulder through as best as she can. And kind of pave the way for her friends. So I think some of that grim determination of we gotta get out, everything's terrible, follow me, kind of like I'll lead the way, essentially.
Okay. That'll be a willpower check, please.
Yeah. Can I tag my grim determination for this?
Yeah, sure.
As she's just kind of... Thank you.
What did you get? You got a 3 and a 5. Okay, so you got a 5, you got success. You're able... I think most of the prey are focused on going up to fight. They're not worried about stopping anyone coming down. That doesn't look like Predator, if that makes sense. Yeah. You have this very serious aura about you, and the other ex-soldiers behind you as well have like a we're going somewhere. So, if you walk with authority, they won't stop you vibe, and you're able to run down the out of the stairs with ease. You are sprinting as hard as you can. At some point, you have to kind of you direct from behind. Actually, you move back, and you're like, go left, go here. You are running through the outer streets of Holdall. You have to pass by the pyre, and there are several more bodies on the pyre that are half burned. The pyre is bigger than you thought it would be, and the heat makes you shy away from it. Sparks are flying up massively. You don't know where they got the wood for all of this, but you look around at the dry fields, at the yellow grass, at the tree, and you get a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. You run out of Holdall as chaos is behind you to get these rats back to Commander Clay and to get what books you could recover to Hiccup.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that's where our interlude ends.
Oh, that was so tense. The last moments, but also this entirety of this interlude part 3. Oh, I hope Greer makes it, and I hope we see her again someday.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was the beginning of something. Something big. Man, I'm so mad about the magpie, but also, honestly, if we ever do, like, you know, have a situation where we just have me on the show, I would be super stoked to, this is kind of like a cool incentive for another Greer adventure where she's tracking the magpie, because there's still stuff she needs to get for Hiccup. So that's kind of exciting. But I'm still just like, oh man, the dice just were not, even though like I had the advantages and everything. But unfortunately,
it's interesting when experienced characters come up against other experienced characters that have all of their have the situation working for them. I mean, to some degree, you succeeded. You stopped the magpie from getting all of the books. Yeah. So
I'm still just like, because I thought that we're gonna go in there and like talk with the Stitchers, and they'll be like, yeah, here's some books, and then I'll be like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go now. So that's why I just burned my success. I'm still so bad at me, because I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna. I didn't get to use the other one that I got because I didn't meet anyone, which I feel is such a expression of the vice, because it's so selfish. Where I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Because at least with the other one, where you can have someone fail, it's like the world sets the precedent, not yourself.
Yeah. It's interesting where these advantages and disadvantages come from following like the vice of living directly in the moment, what is in front of me, to, well, do I need to act with virtue? Do I need to think about everything that's beyond me? And that neutrality of, well, what would happen if I do this?
Yeah, what would happen if I obliterated this magpie is what I want to know. So, what do I need to do to obliterate magpie? Sorry.
To have a little cooldown from such an exciting session, let's have a review of your fortune.
Oh, yes.
So your fortune was and iron rings, which was desire. Desire is the balance of lust and restraint. Lust being compelling, craving, forcing, hungering, longing, pining, provoking, and wanting. Restraint is concealing, holding back, leashing, measuring, moderating, preventing, stopping, and suppressing. In the context of these two this vice and this virtue, you have desire, which is a want and a passion for a goal. How do you think Greer acted in the final chapter of their tale for now?
I am not sure. I am actually not sure, because I think there was a little bit of both. A little bit? Because a few of the buzzwords that you told me, I wish I could see them.
I'll pop them into the Discord for you.
The chat on Roll20? Or me in the Discord?
The Discord, because I can't send images in the chat.
Oh, because it's in there.
I've just like screenshotted the table
I
have.
Thank you.
Snap. So you can see them in front of you, but I will read them out again for our dear audience. You have lust, desire, and restraint. So lust is ache, compel, crave, force, hunger, long, pine, provoke, and want. It is about going for your goal and not having any concessions. Restraint is the other side of desire. It is concealing, holding back, leashing, measuring, moderating, preventing, stopping, and suppressing. It is the opposite of indulging. It is the opposite of charging ahead. It is taking a cold view of the world and considering what you need and what you don't need.
Because I think she did a little bit of both. I think in like for example on that first encounter that we had after running out of the library, she kind of like provoked the crowd to run, like she interfered. But then on the other one, she just like, I'm not intervening. I'm not, like she kind of suppressed whatever. I don't know though. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. What would you arbiter here?
I think that you're right. There was a lot of like balance between like lust and restraint, and I think it depended on the kind of morals that Greer has. Like you see a group of innocent people who are seemingly defenseless, and you leapt to their defense without a question, and it was to clear the way, but also you took the time to like get on your feet and go. But you also didn't think to worry about the army. You didn't want to try and organize the lift or help anyone else in larger groups. You're like, well, if they're that many people, they're on their own. I can't help them. It was very pragmatic, and so you held back in some senses of getting involved, and instead stuck to your goal, which was getting out of Holdall.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even consider to organize it. Like, I'm just like, there's so many people at the lift, I'm not doing this. Like, we can't get in. I didn't even consider, like, organizing them.
And I feel like you acted with both lust and restraint when it came to the library as well. Like, the lust was just kicking down the door, not caring, you got this in the bag. Like, you just wanted to get the books and go. If you had been more restrained and kind of maybe listened, or like investigated more subtly, you could have taken the crow or the magpie by surprise, and you might have had more of an advantage over them. But then when it escaped, you managed to like cut the bandolier, and then you didn't chase after it. You didn't try and like jump out the window and catch it. You kind of held restraint and stuck to your goal of really getting out of Holdall ultimately. Like you got as many books as you could and then just fled. So I think you are neutral. You are a balance of the two.
Yeah, man, I struck all three sides of these conflicts, because I was virtue after the first one, vice for the second one, and neutral for this one.
And I think in my head you kind of started neutral as well. So it's interesting kind of the cyclical nature of like swinging between these two extremes of vice and virtue, and then ultimately finding that sometimes the neutral route is best or most interesting as well. Yeah.
Because I guess expresses itself depending on what the character beholds and how they interact with it. It's not as black and white as one might think. As I would say this Horizon conflict is.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
Yeah. Very, like, my leg has been bouncing like crazy the last half an hour. I'm just like, especially during the magpie encounter. Though also even like the whole, like, when I decided that she's gonna go down to the crowd earlier, and like that was pretty stressful because I'm just like, what is she saying? And then and then we spoke with Koyang, and it's like, I see their point, but then we kind of saw the instant fallout of that as well. Like these, like the folk that we helped on the branch, like they were just with groceries, just walking around, and they were gonna get got. So it was kind of like interesting exploring this aspect of this world where it's a lot darker and a lot more kind of scary, or in some cases also grotesque than Pip and Balthazar have gotten to see so far.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting like other aspect of this world, and obviously getting to play like this kind of experienced character who's a little, the whole Tanner thing I've been like a big fan of. When you brought it up for that, there's this case, and I'm just like, tell me more. That's been kind of fun playing a very different character than Balthazar as well. I'm
excited to see you get back into Balthazar and how our characters advance. As I said, we're going to have a little break from Balthazar's side of things for a bit as we focus on Pippa's Trail and this new guest
because I guess I will be for the next couple episodes. I won't be there. It will be Atlanta and exciting. Wait, did you announce the guest or not?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
But
okay,
we will soon.
Atlanta and a lovely, lovely guest.
Yeah, we've got a
So,
bonus episode to show off, which will be really fun.
Yeah.
Rolling the character.
And then probably we'll, I think, because the next episodes are going to be live or no? Like,
so I'm going on holiday from the 17th of August until the 30th. So we're going to be pre-recording some episodes to go out on Wednesdays, and then we'll like debut them live, and then I might try and be there to like comment along with people and chat and stuff while it's happening, which would be really fun.
Yeah, and then I think our next, because I think we might be pre-recording. There's going to be 2 episodes for Pip.
Yeah,
with
so
a
I'm
guest,
pre-recording
then...
with Pip and this guest on the Monday, and then this Wednesday I'll be airing one of those live, and I'll also be recording a 3rd episode so that we have like the 16th, the 24th, and the 30th, which is when I'm on holiday, pretty much all covered with recorded episodes. And then when we get to the 7th, we'll be back to live again.
Yeah, and on the 30th, I think we might have everyone back again together.
Yes, so the 30th will be the recorded episode from the 16th. It's very confusing,
then,
but yeah.
Yeah. And well, all we just have to say is there's 2 pre-recorded episodes of just Pip. Then on the 30th, unless something happens to Pip, shoot, I don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. We'll see.
We'll have the old gang back together, and then on the
we'll have the players Atlanta and Ver for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we'll see.
Yeah. Whoever survives gets to go. Wonderful.
Oh, this has been so much fun. I think this is it.
Yes.
We've gone a little bit over the clock than we normally do. We normally play for like 2 hours. It's been like 3.5. But
yeah, we started on time and went a little longer. Like, what is this?
So I need food. I think this is a great time to reintroduce ourselves, say thank you again to Roll20, and then say goodbye. So I'm Brian. I use he/him pronouns. I run the publishing imprint Dungeons on a Dime. I wrote the system that we played, Adventures on a Dime, and you can get the whole thing for free. You can get it on Roll20. I'm going to flip over to that screen. All the rules are there. Gorgeous art by Fraser Robertson. It's got fun little things you can move around, which are cute. It's got all the rules. It's for free on the Roll20 marketplace. It's literally on the front page. Go, use it, play it, have fun. The rules are super simple. You saw us have a fantastic, exciting game using them. It's really, really fun. I wrote it, I'm really proud, and I run Dungeons on a Dime, which makes lots of entry-level role-playing content to help people get into role-playing games and enjoy stories like these. I was joined today by Ver, who will introduce themselves again.
So I shall. I have been Ver. You can find me on social media, on Tumblr under Sticks and Sharks, on Twitter under Verface, and you can also find me on Patreon, also at Verface. Brian, I had a lot of fun in this interlude. I had a blast playing Greer. All the heights and lows of this last episode were very exciting, very tense. And I'm really happy with kind of this part of the world that we got to unravel and show, and I got to participate in. So thank you very, very much. I think I will miss Greer. She was very fun, but I'm also very excited to return to Balthazar and play with Atlanta again, and have her adorable little duo continue on their jaunt across the bristly woods, wherever that might take them.
I will shout out that I also have a Patreon. I always forget to say it, but it's patreon.com/DOAD, Dungeons on a Dime. And I'm going to be I am now releasing Adventures on a Dime content monthly. Extra jobs and examples and maybe some scenarios and rules. The adventures that I'm going to be writing for it will have rules for AOAD on it. I do battle maps, I do adventures, I do locations, I do rules, and it's just a hoot. There's also new minis coming from Fraser Robertson, who's the illustrator. Will be coming out every month. I'm thinking of doing a set of like Beast Fables minis. Like digital token packs and minis for people to use. Which would be really cute.
Super cute. Yeah.
We could have one of each of the beasts. We could have a badger and a mole. And
I'm excited for the amphibians because I'm now biased and I love all frogs and toads.
Mm-hmm. We'll get you to do like a 20 frogs and 20 toads.
Oh god, that's
Okay,
I'd
maybe
say
not, but yeah.
exciting, but sounds a little grueling. But who knows? In any
Toad a
case,
month. Anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, we've got a Patreon and there's lots of cool stuff there too, and it's been really fun hanging out with you there, and we're gonna
Yes.
have a cool day.
Yeah, have a lovely day, everybody. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.
See you soon. Bye.